little stream, testing out all of the new decks. Let me make sure I ping the stream announcements. And we are ready to go. Surprisingly, this is a very long auto duel. But once it finishes, we should be ready for the new cards. Welcome, Paco. Okay, and it is past the launch time. So let's go ahead and start by grabbing our Blue Eyes White Dragon, presumably. Mini box, we already know from the leaks. I'm actually pretty surprised they decided to launch all three of these products on the same day. I mean, I guess we are going to pull what we can from the selection box. Wait, is the structure deck not here? We did not get notified for that one. Very interesting. Well, let's start with the gift box. Receive everything. We get the one and only Overrush Rare Prismatic Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now, I think this card could actually go into a couple of decks as is. Draconic Resonance currently has no Legend Dragon and could be a good start for it, though it is another 2-tribute monster. Oh, here we go. Free structure deck. So, it comes with Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Cyberman, and Soul Drake as new cards. Then, oddly enough, it has Dragon's Inferno. This is literally a level up award. Why is this in here? But more importantly, we do actually see Torna getting reprinted, which is actually pretty incredible. And 2 copies of Corona Sparks, freeing it from the paywall, with a free copy of the deck on the way. Everybody's going to have access to at least 3 copies, even without the Sparks ever being in a box. Oh, and I completely did not see Light Sorcerer of Sanctity. This is an incredible deck for everyone except for Paco, who has already bought all of the structure decks. I'll go for the Alt Art Hammer Crush as well. This is actually my preferred art. And it is actually the original one. The one we have in the game is the alt art. But let's go ahead and grab that second structure for sure. And the 4th new card is Dorotheo, a monster that has 1600 attack and defense, which means I'm pretty sure it is legal with the skill. It is not a good card, but I suppose it is another high-level monster. So it's not all bad. Obviously, as a spellcaster, it has no synergy with anything else going on here. But I am happy to see a playset of a Light Sorcerer. And I even managed to pick up a glossy one. I suppose it's not as good as Paco's Prismatic Torna, but we are quite happy with these cards becoming available. So, next up, we go over to the bundles, and we're going to start making our way through the new box. Let's go ahead and do Negate Attack first, since this is definitely from, this is definitely going to be the best of them. we get a bunch of pretty useless cards in our first couple of packs. But here comes an SR, which maybe would be good if it wasn't limited. But even then, probably not. We get our first tribute lock. And for some reason, Righteous Dragon isn't in the structure deck. And I really don't know why they didn't put that in there. Instead of the Dorotheo. Alright. Naked Attack has been claimed. Next up, we are going over to the Rush Bundles. And absolutely, we need to grab Buffered Slime. Slime, of course, is a card I have not been able to use for a while here. We pick up a couple of URs and Ice Sark. One of the cards I'm actually kind of looking for. Then, before we pick up Eternal Freeze, I should make sure we actually still have things to look for. And of course, I forgot about the actually two good cards. Chaos, Femtron, and Mirror Innovator. So, head back over to the bundle. And let's finish up the final one. We managed to pick up Dynamax and the Chaos Femtron. Let's go ahead and finish out our first run of the box. We are looking for Mirror Innovator. And we actually get all 3 of the remaining SRs. We just reset with 33 packs remaining. That is pretty incredible. I hope we're able to get this lucky on the next run. Unfortunately, we are starting off pretty weak, with only a single Avian Spell strategy in the first 10 pull, and a Jampi up in the second. I'm sure this box is going to undo all of the extra gems we saved from the first run. And we are going all the way down to the final packs. We are still missing 6 cards. And we had a dud pull, which is impressive with only 30 packs left in the box. And here we go. 1 pack at a time. And hopefully we're able to pull out the final 2 cards before the final pack. And I know what you're thinking. It looks like my gems are getting pretty low. But worry not. Because we definitely have plenty in the backlog. They aren't over in my gift box, but instead over at the reward screen. I haven't been claiming any of the gems you unlock when you level up your character. So I still have that going for me. And we've reset with 3 in the box. Total savings, 36 packs. And hopefully our last one will go well. It's probably going to... Okay, it loads in. So let's start claiming our gems. I don't want to click on Receive All. Because, I think there are, like, so many gems in here we actually don't need right now. We're going to go up to, maybe 3,000. Or 4,000 and see where we're at after that. But every time you get a character to level 10, you get 50 gems sent over to the lifetime missions. We know there are over 100 characters in Duel Links at the moment. So I have over 5,000 gems sitting in this bank, just waiting to be claimed. So I think we will probably be testing out Ice Zark first, but I am open to suggestions. What decks do you all want to be seeing? And I'll try to build what you all are saying. Though, if I'm going for the easiest way to get started, maybe I just shove Chaos Femtron into a Ragnarok list and see how it goes from there. I mean, who does not enjoy the maximum summons? Bum, ba, ba, bum, ba, ba, bum. I don't know why it takes so long to claim these gems. But I'm thinking we are going to be stun locked here for a while, because I don't want to click on that receive all button and waste a ton of gems. Maybe I should have done this a little bit in preparation for the stream, and then we'd have a much smoother start. The issue is getting the 500 gems per 10 pull is sitting here doing each one of these things 10 full times. So from the box, I'm thinking it's probably not that impressive, but we also do need to pull over to the selection box and figure out what the what cards we are going to be allowed to get through the paywall. Welcome, June and Random. I'm having a good day so far. Ready to play some Duel Links once we manage to find the cards. I don't want to sit here redeeming the gem rewards over and over. So we're gonna go to 2,500. Welcome, Kenny. The box and bundles are out, which is why we're here claiming the gems. Let's go back into the shop and see what we can grab. Apparently I missed out on a free 5 packs of something. Oh, of the selection box. So we get 24 packs, but there is a limit of 35 packs purchased. So we're going to get a guaranteed run of the box, which notably is actually going to come with 2 Siesta Torero. So the important things to note: Ultimate Flag Mech, Gold Rush, and 7 Shift are exclusive cards. Those, if we get them, we would definitely reset the box a little bit early. Then, Spark Hearts Girl, Siesta Torero, and Siesta Hold are the other targets. All of these other things are just alt arts, which we don't care about. And then, of course, the reprints. So let us see what the free packs give us. Maybe, just maybe, we will find a way to get lucky. And we actually opened the Gold Rush on our very first pack. That is a good start. If we're able to find the 7 Shift, we can reset and potentially get 2 copies of both of those very important cards. we are going through the rares. And a Spark Hearts Girl. That is another one of the new cards. Basically, every pack is a 50-50. Are we going to get an alt art we don't care about? Or, I guess we can actually really whiff on a card like Mage or Talismanic Seal Ray. Which is just a flat reprint. But it is a prismatic Seal Ray. So we can't complain too much either. Off to a decent start with the Gold Rush. I'm really looking for the 7 shift though. Let's go back to the mini box and start building with whatever we pull first. We have plenty of gems, but I don't want to sit here all day. We actually do manage to find Metageos and Chaos Femtron and Ice Dark. So we are more or less ready to go. Let's start with Yggdrago. And see how it fares for us. We're gonna go with Maximum Ragnarok for sure. Though there might be an argument for Beyond Curiosity. Maybe we are finally at the point we are going to be able to truly turbo our way through the game. Let's remove Widespread for negate attack. And then add in Slime. We can also remove the Recital. What is the other good trap? Is it just Shield and Sword that I'm thinking of? That doesn't really help me though. Maybe we do want a Recital, after all. Spell trap removal, not that important. As Yggdrago is immune to the Widespread Ruins. And it'll leave more spots for the Chaos Femtrons. Let's head over to our 1500. No, 1400. And we'll take out one of the reset runners. And I think this is more or less what we are going to be running. Our plan is to get Yggdrago as fast as possible. And if we aren't able to do that, we will fill our graveyard with a ton of resources for Attribute Hydron. Only one way to find out if this is going to work. We are headed to the ladder. King of Games. Let's duel and see. Will the Chaos Femtron be enough to save this deck? Bum, 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 bum. Okay, we are even up first, and our Femtrons are ready to go in the grave. I think we're going to start with a reset runner, getting another card into the graveyard. Oh, but that is the Chaos Femtron we would have loved to draw. Let's go ahead and tribute off the runner for a Peacock. We draw 2 cards, and then mill 2. We are back up to 5. Yoctron is in hand, but unfortunately we don't have the Attron. So, and we milled the 2 Yggdrago pieces that we're looking for. What an absolute disaster of a Peacock. We obviously need to keep one of the Yggdrago pieces around, so let's go like this, and pass it over to Durcius. Probably says the Tricorn is a lifetime mission. I probably should, take a look at it. By the way, how many gems are we supposed to be spending on the selection box? It's something like 200 gems times 35 packs. That is 7,000. Maybe I should actually just click on the big button to claim everything. And if I have extra gems at the end of it, I could then, invest in the Performages and play a little bit of Speed Duel later on. Might not be a bad idea. Okay. We have a reset runner. Let's use the effect and mill. Then we peacock. Activate effect. Draw some cards and mill. Now we Femtron. And we mill 3. We would love to add one of the cards to our hand. We could actually just go for the Attribute Hydron and make a big play. Especially if we have another one in the graveyard. We do. I mean, more powerful than Yggdrago could be 2 copies of Attribute. Let's see if it works out or not. Keep in mind, we have so many monsters in the graveyard that we are also going to be able to draw extra cards. So we Monster Reincarnation. And I'm actually going to get rid of the slime here, just to grab another Hydron. Summon Yggdrago and this. Now, the thing I am a little bit concerned about, I am giving up my ability to find Yggdrago. So if we don't actually KO this turn, we are going to run into a pretty big issue where they can set 3 and pass repeatedly. But this is so much damage, I'm sure it is lethal. Swing in with the Attribute, and then swing in for 4,700. Congratulations, Sonic! 7 Shift and Herrero on the 5 free packs is fantastic. Alright, and Yggdrago takes our first game. I'm thinking we're gonna do 3 games per deck, roughly. Though I know some of them are going to need breaks in order to unlock the relevant skill. I'd start by getting those in the grave. An Attribute Hydron, not bad. We have Atron, so let's go for it. We draw a card. Reset runner. Mill a card and shuffle the deck. Then peacock to get us back up to 5. Not bad. I'm thinking we might actually want to keep both of the Chaos Femtrons around for next turn, since they represent 3 +1s. Oh wait, did I have a Zeptron in there? No. Okay. So we will set, but also the Yggdrago piece sounds really nice. A difficult choice. I suppose we will get rid of 1. No, we're gonna go in on the Attribute play. So let's go like this and pass it over. Welcome, Alice. We did get 500 gems, so a 10 pull. Or enough to go grab the second copy of the Structure deck, which we also get a free one of. And they're opening with a lone Dragorite. Very interesting. Our move. And we draw 2 copies of the right side, huh? I think we will start with the Chaos Femtron and see what we can find. we actually milled 2 100 defense monsters. That is hilarious. But fair enough. Let's go ahead and tribute these off for a Hydron. And draw a card. Another Chaos Femtron. We will go for it. And we will add a left piece. For sure. Unfortunately, with 3 back row, I'm pretty sure they are going to be able to stop us. On the plus side, we have actually received no copies of Yggdrago's headpiece. And they somehow do not stop the attack. A copy of the barrier is going to save them. But that is an incredibly weak start. No slime. And no negate attack. Puts us in an incredible spot. Down to just 1,200. And if we draw Yggdrago, we basically win. We have 3 copies. And only 11 cards. Roughly a 30% chance. And we get to do it twice. So, probably like a 40 to 30% chance of actually drawing the card. Alright, we see a Dragonic Pressure, but there's no way this is going to be a full 6,000 damage KO. Even if they discard both Sports Dragons, it's only 4,800. At max. We see the pitcher revived, and then, what are they going to do? Dragorite. Not a huge deal. A new back row. Could be a little bit more problematic. Obviously we aren't sliming here, as that would deal 2,000 damage to us. We'd be taking more than we save. And unfortunately, we just draw into a couple of extra Yggdrago pieces. So let's make sure we have 1 of each. And we can end turn. After this, we are going to use Negate Attack unless they manage to bring in a double Slayer board. But we should more or less be completely immune to dying this turn. They would need a very, very impressive set of cards to clear all of this back row, all of these monsters, and be at 4,500 damage. Two to the Doomed. Not the worst start, but it does cost a card. Here comes a Winged Dragon. I'm entering the battle phase. We'll go ahead and flip the Negate Attack, forcing them to end their turn. Then, once we draw into our maximum monster, it will be over. Bethlehem just says, have I finished the box runs? No. We grabbed our 3 Chaos Femtron and began dueling. We are definitely going to be opening more packs later on. We see the Yggdrago come down, and we win the game. So, one more round with Cybers. Or maybe we go until we lose a game. That could be a pretty good metric as well. A minimum of 3, but if we're on a 3-win streak, we keep going. Paco says, have almost everything from the box, but all Prima. Yeah, if you manage to somehow pull all 3 copies of 7 Shift and Gold Rush, that is very impressive. Alright, we see Beyond Curiosity triggering. And we have Atron plus Chaos Femtron to dig even more. Not a bad start. And we get a second Femtron. Let's start going through our Atrons right away. Atron draws us some new cards. Then the Chaos Femtron. And there's a chance we just find the maximum right here. Add a card to hand. Sure. We'll grab an Yggdrago piece. Unfortunately, it is a duplicate. So we're going to keep on drawing. To beat off the Chaos Femtron for a Peacock Picotron. Draw 2, send 2 to the grave. And then we get one more shot. Oh, we have a Zeptron. Femtron and Aptron are definitely both in the graveyard. So let's go ahead and dig 2 more deep. Then we can return cards to the deck. We don't need a Drago. And we don't need Recital. We'll go for the Chaos Femtron and see if we're able to get the head this way. We do not, but we do find an Attribute Hydron, which means now we cycle one more time with Picotron. And we draw 2 more cards. And we whiff again. But as you can see, we have 2 Attribute Hydron in our hand. And we have an extra maximum piece. So let's go here. There is a set monster, so we don't need to maximize the first Hydron. We can actually just see if we draw into the Yggdrago, which we do not. And that is fine. Let's take a look over at the graveyard. We see 1 headpiece has gone down. I'm kind of tempted to go all in on decking ourselves out for the joke. So 1 left and 1 right. So we go this way. 1 and 2. And then we get to draw another card. And that is the Yggdrago head we were looking for. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to actually make a difference as the other card is on the bottom of our deck. Let's try swinging in with the Hydron. And then we actually get in for a 4700. Had we drawn into another Chaos Femtron, it would have been game. Is it better to play with or without the maximum? So, Beyond Curiosity does require us to run 8 of the 9 anyway. Or not. Okay. I thought, we had to run 8. But that is part of, Maximum Magnavox instead. So, we could actually cut out the maximum monsters here. And just play it as Attribute Hydron Turbo. But that seems a little bit rough to me. And they concede. They were unable to deal with the double Attribute Hydron field. And we're going to just completely blow up once we got a chance. I do want to point out something though. None of these opponents have actually drawn any resistance. No negate attacks, no widespread, no slime. Congrats, Paco, on getting all of those URs and SR cards. Missing 1 copy is not too bad. But for just $200, you could try to open the 3rd copies. Let us see if we are able to find a new opponent. Up against a Yuga. I want to say it is going to be a Magnum player. But you never know. Beyond Curiosity triggering right at the start. But this time we have absolutely nothing. No Chaos Femtrons. Just a couple of dead maximum pieces. Fortunately, our trap cards provide pretty strong protection here. Welcome, SG. And yeah, so I think I'm planning out my video sequence, and the Blue Eye structure definitely has to be the first thing I cover. Because it is an absolutely insane value. For 500 gems, we get 2 copies, including a ton of very important reprints. It's way more generous than I thought they would have ever been. Alright, so we do have, our Yggdrago. But I am going to cycle 4 additional trap cards. We don't need to use the Yoctron, but we do want to put it onto the board before we maximum summon. Yggdrago onto the board. And then let's flip over that face down monster. Even if they manage to out the Yggdrago, filling up the graveyard like this means the Attitude Hydron will finish the game afterwards. As long as we're able to find 1. Battle phase, and we swing in for 3,000 damage. Unless they have something to stop us. But it looks like we actually get through. And remember, we have Slime and Negate Attack to try to help us out here. So let's see what they are going to do to out this. Sandstorm Magician does cap, what are the ratios needed for the URs from the mini box? Okay. That is a great question. I think Dynamix is a skip. But if you wanted it, you would need all 3. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to maximum summon. Canemy D is a skip. But again, if you're trying to run a deck with it, you probably want 3 to be able to use the Ramon pick again. As much as possible. Metageas, honestly, it's also a skip. You can run Jageas aggro and be fine. But you could also build a Metageas, Jageas combo deck, which I think would be quite good. As you'd have 6 boss monsters capable of attacking twice. Alright, let's definitely flip over their face down monster. Sounds a magician, huh? Are we good with that? I mean, we don't have a peacock in our hand. So I suppose we are going to be battling. As is. Let's see what they have to stop us. We get in for a clean 1,300. Unfortunately, we do have 2 copies of the Peacock in Grave. We're only going to have 1 other available for us in our 11-card deck to be able to tribute off this Yggdrago. Things could be getting a little bit complicated. Alright, we have Yggdrago actually pretty low now. A Sunset Magician would have been able to end it. Draw a card. And we are forced to flip a monster into attack mode. We'll go ahead and target this set monster, as it's probably going to have less attack than a Dark Sorcerer. Enter the battle phase, and this is 1,600. Just barely not enough. But the Current of Sparks is being activated to save additional life points anyway. Fine by me. Notably, we do still have the Peacock available to us. So if we get the chance, we do want to tribute off Yggdrago. And then make our comeback with a big board of just Attitude Hydron and other monsters capable of attacking normally. Oh, and then the final card, Mirror Innovator, is really hard to tell. I think 3 copies of it is going to be good in a deck like Magician Shuffle. Other than that, the Machine deck with Gold Rush. Might be able to use it because you're running Gold Rush and Tough Striker. And you can use the Mirror Innovator instead of Ace Breaker. But with Ace Breaker and Mirror Innovator both sharing a limit 3 slot, it's really hard to tell what the optimal plan is. Honestly, I think the big draw for me are some of these SR cards. As you can see, the Chaos Femtron has been putting in some work here. I do think Ice Sark has a chance to be playable. And so on. And of course, Surge Bicorn is a 3 of. So also, that is actually probably worth more noting. The SRs from the box, there are only one copy because it is a mini box, so we don't get 2 per box. And Chaos Semtron, Ice-Sark, and Bicorn are all 3 ofs. In their respective decks. Alright, opponent is up first, but we do have a Chaos Femtron and a Monster Reincarnation to try building out our Yggdrago. We even have 2 pieces available to us. This could go pretty well, but it could also end poorly. Only one way to find out. The only way to win is to play. And the only way to play is to make moves. Starting off with some sets. Kind of what we would expect on turn 1. A turn 1 tribute set means it is probably a 7th Axel Road player. And the SL does give us more reason to believe so. Let's go for the Chaos Femtron right away. Activate the effect. And unfortunately, we hit, another left piece. So we're gonna grab the Reset Runner. And that'll send another card to the graveyard, giving us one more shot at finding the right type. We do not, so let's set here. And I think we want to end on just the head Yggdrago. It should be difficult for them to deal a full 6,000 unless they have the widespread face down. We clear out the Torna. And this is good enough. It is definitely not an advantageous position to be in, but it could be a lot rougher. Obviously, no Atrons, no Picotrons is a bit sad. We love activating card effects and digging through very deep on turn number 1. A light sorcerer. Presumably they don't have another one. But if they did, we would be in a ton of trouble. Or a Shield and Sword to reduce us to 0. Okay. Now we are in actual danger. Seven's Axel Road provides a 2800 plus a 7-Sword Magician. And that becomes pretty threatening. 3900 and 2800 is game. Or really even just a 3300 Magician. But they are kind of bricked on 1 tribute monsters. With a full board, they aren't going to be able to get the 7's Road Magician out with the Witch's Effect, which should save me a little bit of life points. But if they have another normal monster in hand, then it is still game, and we see a light sorcerer. Unfortunately, our win streak is coming to the end by the hands of 7's Axel Road. Notably, even if we did try to play a little bit more defensively, they did have a Torna. I mean, I'd say the deck did brick a little bit here, but it did put up a good fight. We went on a 4 or 5 game win streak. So let's see if I can figure out where we started here. Okay, perfect. Let's just go ahead and start saving some Cyberse replays. In case I want to make a deck profile on it later. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, and now that we have done that, it is time to, spend some gems. Oh, weekly missions. Also managed to complete one of those by playing the PvP duel. So we go to lifetime missions and we filter simply by skills. What do we need to do to get the new options? Light Fiends. Oh, this is Speed Duel. Okay. Summon Blue Eyes 3 times in a rush in order to get the Blue Eyes Rain. I think Blue Eyes is probably a fun one to try out next. So let's head over to Luke and get building. We don't need the KPO3 deck anymore, as we already did the Tomato collab. So let's go ahead and clear this out. We're gonna want Blight Dragon, Blue Eyes, and Kaiba Man. Oh man, I believe is an 800 attack point. Like, oh, only 200. But good enough for me. We'll go for the Red Eye skill for now. Which is somewhere. Black Dragon Rising. Okay. Oh, but that means I can't run the regular Blue Eyes. Presumably, Blue Eyes Bright Dragon should count. Filter by dragons. Let's grab Red Eyes. And then, a Phoenix Dragon. Some Red Eyes Black Chick. And we need more high-level monsters. So, let's grab the level 8. Kime Ruler. And then we need one more. But it can't be limit 3. Which does limit our options a bit. We'll just go for a Dorotheo. Oh yeah, Righteous Dragon is definitely the right play here. A little bit less bricky than a Dorotheo. I'm pretty sure it has 1200 attack. So it should be somewhere around here. There we go. Trap cards, negative attack is fine by me. Sword and Shield sounds good. Can't run King's Majesty, but we can run Slime. And we could even choose to go for a Tribute Lock. But I don't think we need to. That should be enough trap cards. We have a ton of dragon monsters, so we'll run a Dragon's Inferno or two. And then we will round things out with the legend card Shield and Sword. Then we just need some kind of consistency tools. So let's bring in our best friends, the Aquas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 6. And then I probably am going to just throw in an Essel here. Since we are forced to run 7 high-level monsters. I think the Essel does make sense. And then we just need some kind of utility monster to round out this. The Sports Dragons could also work. And it would let me theoretically run a card like Pressure, which would be pretty funny. But for now, we are just gonna throw in maybe a Mage or something. Just some kind of debuff, and then we'll be good to go. If Spark Hearts Girl was not limit 3, I would try to be funny and put it in here. But we need to get out 3 Bright Eyes in order to unlock the actual skill. So let's start with this variant. And then we'll try the actual dedicated Blue Eyes deck. Let's go ahead and cue in with our Purple Eyes strategy. And we'll see how it all goes. I know I did post a concept list the other day. So let me go see what I actually did there. And see if I'm able to... Oh, I'm actually able to run Kanam with the skill. I need to take out the Lamoons immediately. Okay, we are going second. And we opened with an Essel. Unfortunately, we drew 3 of our boss monsters instead of drawing the Chick. However, Essel might just be able to save us. We see Maximum Overload setting a monster. And that's fine with me. How many Gold Rush are enough for Light Machine? You probably really want 2 if you're building around the effect. Basically, if you're running only 1 copy, you probably don't want to dedicate the space to Tough Striker. compared to Acebreaker and other options. Alright, so we find a chick, which seems pretty good to me. Unfortunately, we don't have any way to get other monsters into the graveyard, so we should Essel first, and kind of just see what we get here. But Chick is actually an incredible draw. Special summon a monster to the field. We managed to find a Seahorse Carrier, and this deck performs a little bit of a funny. Black Dragon's Chick, activate the effect. And the Red Eyes Black Dragon is on board. Then, we can bring in the Blue Eyes Bright Dragon and clear the board. We could also opt to deal a little bit of damage instead, but I think going for the full clear is much better. Blue Eyes White Dragon does not work just on Blue Eyes White Dragon. If you control any legend normal monster, I am able to run the secondary effect of Bright Dragon to destroy a monster on the opponent's board. With this, let's go into battle. Suna, I think, the big things to look at are the number of tribute monsters and the number of spell and trap cards. If you run something like 4 or 5 spell and traps and 5 or 6 tribute monsters, you tend to be okay. Anything more than that is going to be pretty bricky. Also, it does depend a little bit on what deck you're running. A deck like Harpy is able to run more spell and trap cards than others because all of their monsters are 1 tribute, assuming you don't run the pet dragon alongside it. And Paco. I do agree, Bright Dragon is a very strong card. It's basically a better version of Ancient Arise Dragon, as you don't need as much setup to actually get the effect off. And it has 2500 defense too. It really does a lot. Alright, we find another Blue Eyes Bright Dragon because we are simply superior gamers. So, I mean, do we go for the Shield and Sword here? We definitely could, but it's not quite lethal. And there's always that chance of them making a weird comeback. So we're gonna go ahead and throw it face down for now. Summon out Kana, Lamoon, which should be Kanan. Then we bring in Bright Dragon number 2. They did not deal with our Red Eyes, which means, once again, we are activating the effect, and we destroy the Ancillor. Do note we could have dealt a lot more damage if we went the other way around, but I am intentionally choosing not to. Now the question is whether or not I want to swing in with the Red Eyes or not. So we know they have a head in the graveyard, and they returned green to deck. Have they used this on other turns? We unfortunately don't have our negate attack. So I mean, we would just go ahead and swing in anyway. Why not? 2200. No, I'm pretty sure this is the lethal part, Paco. I think it's like at 2300 or so that it becomes lethal. But yeah, here we go. I guess we'll find out. I do think they had 2 of the pieces. The thing you do against set 3 is I'm currently running Kime Ruler. And there we go. It's 6,200 damage. So I'm fine with losing that one. I knew I should have passed turn, but, Paco told me it would totally be fine. So, I mean, I had to trust him. Alright, let's go into the next round. But as you can see, even though we lost the game, we showed off the core of the deck very well. Even though we opened 3 level 7 monsters in our opening hand, we were able to bring out a tribute monster every single turn. And the Bright Dragon comboed perfectly with Black Dragon's Chick. Or the Red Eyes, I suppose. I think we are going to take it a little bit slow. We want to keep our Chick in hand for the next turn. we have the Bright Dragon, which should be valuable. We see the Ghost Cyclone. Unfortunately, they're going to be able to draw a card, and they're destroying our Inferno. And if they are on Rebels, they tend to be running a ton of trap cards. And furthermore, Sword and Shield doesn't work if Doom Metal has already blown up my entire board. SG, you absolutely do not need 3 Stockbuster Dragon. I think you're fine. Yeah, they managed to get a Doom Metal off of Essel. So we are taking a little bit of damage here. But we will do what we can. We only have 2 low-level monsters. So I think we bricked. Unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to do the combo. Black Dragon Rising, activate, and we return Shield and Sword to the deck. We add Red Eyes. We debuff Doom Metal. And then check. Activate the effect, bring in Red Eyes. Set our other monster. And that is the best we can do. Try to swing over the Doom Metal and survive the next turn using our Sword and Shield card. Unfortunately, with only 1 attack position monster on board, if they heavy metal, I guess we do just blow up. So maybe the Lamoon in attack mode would have been a better play, given our current face down. Definitely something to think about. Also, if I was trying to complete the mission, I should have summoned the Bright Dragon anyway. Essel is milling even more monsters. I suppose to make sure that they send something good back with the Shadow Buyer, and they don't remill it on the next turn. Shadow Buyer up to level 5. Oh wait, yeah, and they didn't activate the skill, so this heavy metal is going to be able to attack directly. Maybe the Lamoon should have been in attack mode. Phaser actually doesn't do much. Because the monster comes out in defense mode. Unless they have the spell card. They don't. Okay. So, we somehow managed to survive this turn. We really need to draw into another Black Dragon's Chick and some more low-level monsters, though. Paco, I do agree. They had a potential lethal there. But they didn't know I was going to have a 0 defense monster. So, I mean, I can't really blame them too much. Let's debuff the heavy metal. Then, Seahorse Carrier. Activate the effect. Bring out a Lamoon. Bright Dragon can come down. Mill a card. And then Inferno. I'll just pop this one. A Seal Array. Can't tell whether or not that was good or bad. Definitely a tough situation. I'm pretty sure we are going to be losing this game. Yeah, Widespread Moon is going to seal it for them. Unfortunately, we just didn't get the pieces we needed. Maybe we are running too many spell and trap cards. 6, I think, is a lot. We could theoretically cut out the Inferno. Because we do have a grind game. And if players are going to be on Negate Attack and on cards like Negate Attack and Slime, then having the extra monsters to kind of just deal with the crackbacks and more consistently get around. Oh, we're also not running Seal Array. I just noticed. But what would we run instead? Also, I don't think we've seen the Righteous Dragon at all. Not that it is a good card. But Kaiba more elusive, even though we've drawn the Bright Dragon every game. Regardless. We have summoned our third Blue Eyes Bright Dragon. So we should be able to get the new dedicated skill. Go ahead and send him a nice. Tuna says the only option to make without is to make a deck without bricking. What deck are you playing? I'm not sure if you ever answered, but I might have missed it. I mean, probably I would say running the Harpy deck is probably your most consistent option. Assuming you don't run the Pet Dragon. Like, if you're just looking for something that is able to play down cards every turn, it's either going to be that or Aqua. But we should be able to unlock the Blue Eyes skill now. Here we go. Wait, no, that's not the right one. Does it really not count the Bright Dragon? It has to be the actual, true, Blue Eyes, apparently. I wasn't actually expecting that, which means we basically just need to, summon. Yeah, so it hasn't counted at all, unfortunately. I think that means we're going to be transitioning over to the Water Winged Beast deck. We need a warrior and a winged beast high level monsters, and I can do that no problem. We have 3 Ice Sark. So let's go ahead and find a deck slot we do not care about. Filter for warriors and filter for winged beasts. We are definitely going to be running 3 Ice Sark. And then at least for unlocking the skill, we are running 3 Tengu. I mean, it is able to become 2800 with the skill. Then we need to run different names in order to use the effect. Obviously, we're running this many boss monsters. We're going to absolutely need Essel around. But we'll get to that in a moment. All these seem fine. I don't think we need any of this. But we can run Faithbird as well. Since we are basically just going to be auto-dueling to bring out the tribute monsters and get the skill unlocked. And then we'll figure out the specifics from there. Head down to 1000 attack. And then we will find Essel. Then we throw in a few spell cards. I'll go with Widespread on this one. And a shield and sword. Okay. One with the brick is I put the 1 star to the game in the Google Play. Sorry you have not been having fun with the deck. Suna, and welcome, Adarsh. You have caught us in the middle of just unlocking the Ice Zark skill. Unfortunately, we didn't draw into any of our actual Water Winged beasts, so it might take us a couple of games. Funnily enough, we have the Yami Ruler. But I'm pretty sure the NPCs here don't own any relevant cards. Of course, we mill the Tengu, the first card that would have actually been relevant towards our condition. I suppose I will see if I draw into a tribute monster. I do not, so let the auto duel go ahead and just finish this game. And we will try again. We weren't able to find any in the 10 cards we drew. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Next shot. And we'll go down to 2 times rewards just so we can play it safe. Alright, and we do draw an Ice Arc. So we are going to be playing the game this time. Let's SL to get some more cards into the graveyard. 1 Keymae Ruler already set up. Perfect. Ice Arc, tribute off, 2. But we don't have the skill, so we aren't able to activate the skill. Obviously. I completely forgot about that. Alright, and our move, we just want to see more waters. Perfect. Ice Arc coming in. 1, 2. And we back to the auto duel. It's not quite lethal, but we do still have a chance of drawing into the Tengu or our 3rd Ice Arc. Unfortunately, we do not. So we'll get out of this game real quick. And do 1 more. We'll also go down to 1 times rewards. Because we need to save some standard duelists to unlock the other skills. Like, if I need to stall and draw into the blue eyes 3 times. That is a pretty significant time investment. And it might take, and it's going to take multiple duels to do. Unless I also wait for cards like Monster Reincarnation to bring it out multiple times. Okay, we found the Tengu. All we need to do is summon it and let Auto Duel do the rest. Bring in Blue Falcon Tengu. There we go. We summoned a 3rd Water Winged Beast. Looks like we are actually also up against a warrior deck. Not that it actually does anything. Demigod says the hero structure deck for Rush has been revealed. Neos isn't a legend. Yeah, Neos is definitely able to run, normally in Rush duels. They have, no particularly high qualities. I'm pretty sure we already have a monster with its stat line or better as a non-legend. Cards like Dark Magician were only legends because of being iconic and having those cards like Thousand Knives to support them. How many tribute monsters do I recommend? I would say normally around 5 or 6. Some of the skills I'm using today are requiring a lot more. But in the Cyber deck we saw earlier, I was only running 3 Attitude Hydron and 3 copies of the Head of Yggdrago, which was 6. And some decks can even get away with just 5. So before we take Ice Arc onto the ladder, it's also worth noting this is a deck that is going to need a lot of tribute monsters. However, it tries to deal with this by giving us a way to get those monsters into the graveyard. All my 1400 or more need to be Warrior or Winged Beast. Okay. Send 2, and then if I choose a Water Attribute Winged Beast, it gains attack. Notably, for Ice Arc to work, we're going to need 3 of our 4 in the graveyard already. But I don't think we can really afford to run 3 Tengu. So we're going to cut one of those, and we're also going to need some kind of advantage generating engine. We'll go and cut out Misaki. And we're going to start fitting in some Aquas, because they are able to work even if we have a card like Yami Ruler on the board from a previous turn. We also definitely want to run Buffered Slime, but we really don't have a ton of space. 2, 4, 6, 9 tribute monsters is really pushing it, especially when so many of them take 2. But we do want Slime, for sure. And we're also going to need more Aqua monsters. Like, this is not enough on its own. And then I think we are actually going to cut Faithbird, even though it has a defense stat. The 1500 can be boosted by a Piercing Samurai. making it actually a pretty valuable inclusion. Oh, but the non-deaths are completely useless. So we can go like this. And we'll see what happens. We do have spells. We could add in a copy of the Limit 3 Avion spell strategy. Giving us the ability to stack a Ice Arc back on top of the deck and draw it next turn. But that seems a little bit bricky in this deck. It's really strong in the Harpies. Try to use the Barrier. Unfortunately, the Barrier is not very good. There are just a lot of other high-value trap cards at this point in time. But it's not a bad card in a vacuum. The Barrier used to be a staple card in the format. It just is no longer time for it. We have too many other more powerful options. Alright, we are opening up with an Essel. Which, I mean, this looks pretty bad, but maybe we turn it around. We also didn't manage to find either of our actual boss monsters for the deck. Carmago says, not even the alt art Essel. Very true. Alright, and they have a full set 5. We draw into Ice Arc, but we are going to need to find a low level monster here. Alright, we actually find Ice Arc itself. Might as well go ahead and bring it in. But I guess this doesn't work on a special summon one. Don't even you normal summon a level 6 or higher monster. That being said, if I excuse me? Okay. I don't actually need to summon a winged beast monster to use this effect, if I'm reading this correctly. So let's actually just bring in a Yami Ruler. Wait, no, we have a Kime Ruler. With 3 back row, there is a pretty high chance of a widespread ruin. But that's fine. We will simply not have them draw it. Let's activate our skill. Spectro Squall sends 2 monsters from the deck to the graveyard. Then Kime Ruler mills another. Enter battle, swing in, and we somehow manage to connect, which is pretty ridiculous. I think it probably was a much safer and more consistent play to go for the Yami Ruler here. But I think it's way funnier to get in for the damage. Welcome, Justin. I hope you are having a good one. I feel like it has been a little bit since I've seen you around, but I've also not been streaming as much recently. So it's probably on my end. Hope you've been doing well. Alright, Samir is sitting here and waiting. But they finally draw the card. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Oh. Let's see what they do. I mean, if this is a 7 Axel road deck, we could be in pretty big trouble. We do have a card to protect us, but it's not going to do much against these huge attack boosts. Provided by whatever skill they are on. Bum, 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 bum. Alright, and it is actually Light Machines. Barrage is going to be able to remove our trap card. And then Amigal could bring in a huge 3,500 attack point monster. And with Bicorn, they are getting 2 big bosses. We might just be down. But they aren't going to have the machines in the graveyard for Bicorn's effect. Maybe we survive. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, thank you for the follow. Absolutely. That's actually a fantastic name. I'm surprised you were able to get a full, normal, like, real word as a Twitch username. Welcome, Serena. Welcome, Manarchist. Welcome, Quantum. Apparently I somehow missed an entire raid. Thank you for the raid, Quantum. I literally have no idea how I didn't hear it go off. But how was your stream, Quantum? I hope you all had a good day. You got a prismatic mirror innovator. That's amazing. Congratulations. I managed to get a glossy, light sorcerer, and I thought that was pretty good on its own. Also, I'm super dead. Welcome, Dr. Dinosaur. So we have seen the power of the new light machine deck. Everybody joined at a great time. Thank you for the follow, Jerry Beansman. So back in, college, I actually had a, club that would play Yu-Gi-Oh! And we used Jerry Beansman as our icon. It was also, one of the cards that I really wanted to own as a kid. Back in middle school, I was playing a Grouty Bind deck, where I was trying to win the game with, cards like Spell Striker that could attack directly. And I ran 3 copies of Sonic Duck, because it had a 1700. But I knew Jerry Beansman existed from the video games, but I wasn't able to ever find any until I was an adult and past the point where that would have actually been a good card. Ice Arc does not work on turn 1 of the game, but it does have 2000 defense. So I think we might actually set it. Try to get in with a good enough board here. Though, with Sword and Shield, maybe I do actually want to put it in attack mode anyway. In either case, with a deck running 10 tribute monsters, or 9 tribute monsters, I definitely think we can't afford to not tribute set here. The odds of breaking would just be way too high. Congrats, Justin, on the prismatic Dark Magician Girl. I definitely need to go into that selection box when I get the chance. I have the gems for it, but I didn't want to keep everybody waiting, for the duels. So we're trying out Ice Arc currently. I believe this is game number 2. But they haven't actually done anything. I can't really count this one as a win for the deck if they don't play any cards. Prismatic Stockbuster and Candy. Thing is, I think the Candy might end up coming in clutch a few sets down the line. There are good Candy support cards. We simply don't have them currently. But once it manages to release, you will be in good hands with it. Gavin level up, giving us 200 gems. Enough for another selection box pull. I definitely was not calculating all of the gems we were going to need for the selection box and the mini box at the same time. But I should have a decent backlog. And I've also done something where all of my characters from Duel Monsters to Vrain's World are all one duel away from leveling up. So even if I manage to, even if I don't have enough gems available right now, I would be able to figure it out with a few auto duels. Each one worth like 50 to 200 gems. I do want to test out the machine deck, but unfortunately that is going to be a luck-based selection box thing. So, we'll do a few more games with the Ice Arc, and then we will move on to probably Metageos. And while I could run the dedicated skill, I'm also considering simply running an aggro deck with Metageos in it. I'm not going to be playing Psychics, and I'm not playing with the Dino Maximum. So the next things on the list are either Metagios or the Blue Eyes White Dragon, which we still need to unlock the skill for that. We did get Full Metal Fist, just coincidentally. Unfortunately, we are going second. Yami Ruler would have been fantastic here. Though if my opponent is on Harpies, they are going to be able to walk right over it. But we draw into the Kime Ruler. And we do have a buffered slime to protect us. So even if we get hit by a Widespread Ruin, we shouldn't be dying. Harpy decks only run Ghost Cyclone, for the most part. Unless they're running the brand new Limit 3, but that would take the place of their middle Harpy piece. So I don't think they would ever want to actually do that. Let's go ahead and put this Yami Ruler in the grave. Enter the battle phase and swing in directly. And they do have the Widespread Ruin, but that is no problem. Let's go ahead and see what they bring out. I'm happy to get the Legend Spell out of the way nice and early. Alright, they are on a Blue Eye stack. Are they actually running the Red Eye stack that I was trying out earlier? 2 copies. Wait, no, it's Bright and Blue Eyes. Things are getting very challenging. We absolutely need to use the buffered slime here in order to survive. But we don't have a good way to out this. I'm pretty sure Ice Sark is only 2000 attack, which means after Spectral Squall, it still can't actually clear the Blue Eyes. And that is going to be a death sentence for this deck, because Blue Eyes is absolutely going to be everywhere on ladder. Our move. We draw into the Ice Sark, but as I said, it's not seeming all that promising. We can go ahead and bring it in. Then we can use Ice Sark and return these 2 monsters into the deck. And that allows us to bring out Kime Ruler from the grave. Then we activate skill. Spectral Squall is going to send those monsters right back into the graveyard for future use. And of course we do want to boost up. But is crashing a board like this really going to be worth it? Or do we just leave? But we can't let them keep the Blue Eyes around, because then if they bring out a Bright Eyes, we are going to just die. Let's see if they have any trap cards. They do. That is even more threatening. And it's a copy of the Barrier. So unfortunately, I think I need to go this way and clear the 2 monsters. If they manage to find the 3rd Blue Eyes Bright Dragon, we are basically just going to lose on the spot. Wait, I thought they had 2 of those in there. Oh, but they shuffled 1 away with the Barrier to be able to get it again. Soul Drake on board. And it's going to be able to bring out the Bright Dragon straight from the grave. This is looking pretty strong. Let's summon a Light Attribute Dragon from the graveyard. And they even have the Talismanic Seal Away. We are cooked. But I still have to wonder, what skill are they on? Wait. Oh, in order to use Soul Drake, you need to send an effect monster. They tried to use the Grace Princess Kana, and didn't realize it wasn't going to work. We draw 3 Essel. Let's just go ahead and pop the Surrender. I will send them a nice, and I need to look at what they were actually running. I think their list is probably pretty fun. And they are on Advanced First Draw to get a potential 2nd Blue Eyes. And that sounds very funny. I I would like to try it. Random level 7 or higher normal monster. So you can draw the blue eyes whenever you want. If it's turn 4 or higher, but then you get a second blue eyes. I'm gonna do that. Let's go over to Luke. We do need to be running, unfortunately, actual Blue Eyes White Dragon in order to get the skill. So we will switch over to Advanced Burst Draw. And we're able to get it anytime we have no monsters on the field, starting on turn 4. Oh, we can't save yet. We do still need other cards. So we have the Seahorse. We need the 1400 and then probably some Currybot. So let's find Kanan. Perfect. And then we scroll down to the bottom. 300 attack. Currybot. And we're ready to go. We'll use cards like Buffered Slime and Negate Attack to draw out the game to turn 10. But we also do need an out to maximum monsters. So we do need to be running some amount of Talismanic Seal Arrays. Which will be over here. Okay. We also don't need these Scheme Rulers. But this is not a finalized version of the deck. Oh, welcome, Sam. I do think the new cards are pretty strong. But I haven't had the chance to see if they're actually overpowering or not. How has your experience been with it so far? Oh, also, I like the Splatoon profile picture. I actually just reached S+, about a week ago. And I'm working on the rank 50 table turf. I'm at like 47 right now. Okay. All we need to do is pass turn. Once we get to turn number 4, Advanced Burst Draw should be activatable. We will have no monsters on board. And we will have fewer life points, which I believe are all the conditions. Perfect. Here we go with Blue Eyes White Dragon number 1. And now we simply let the auto duel do the rest of the work. And then we do this 3 times. And we will have the Blue Eyes skill available for play. And it does sound like people want to see the Blue Eyes. Are there any other cards from the box that I need to make sure I have 3 of? Obviously, without the 3rd structure deck, I'm not going to be able to access the 3rd Kaiba or Soul Drake. And speaking of, Soul Drake is definitely the other card I need to add into this deck. But we will get there soon. I think being able to Destiny draw a Blue Eyes White Dragon on turn 4 could actually be pretty useful. Alright, we drew Blue Eyes. We can let the auto duel just take it from the start. Blue Eyes not going to be outable by these decks. A couple of 1400 beaters, and it'll be over before turn 5. Or on turn 5. I instantly went to go send them a nice. But I was not able to because this is not a real human being. Alright, 2 Blue Eyes down. Just 1 more to go. Let's do the Luke mirror match. No, that is a level 40. I don't want to do that. So we'll fight Jay. If we draw into the Blue Eyes, turn number 1, that's great. But if we don't, we can simply pass turn. Going second means we only have to deal with 1 round of attacks. And these players do not use any actual monsters. At most, we're going to be taking 4,000. So all we need to do is pass turn. We actually could have set 3 as long as the monsters would have been destroyed, because the red medicine gained them life. Let's go ahead, activate Advanced Burst, draw. Draw the blue eyes, and auto duel. Take it from here. Since it's got a 7 win streak with the Metagios and lost to Yggdrago. I haven't played Splatoon in a while, so I'll have B+ rank on everything but clams. So that must mean you were playing Splatoon 2. Because Splatoon 3 actually merged the 4 modes back into a single letter grade. In Splatoon 2, I only made it up to around S+4. Never did make it to X rank. Though I wonder how the Splatoon 2 community is now. All the better players probably moved on to Splatoon 3. If they're trying to be super competitive. So maybe it is actually easier to rank up nowadays. Unfortunately, Splatoon 1 recently went offline. For those of you who are following, the Wii U was shut down, alongside the 3DS online services. Sam, what is your Metagios list looking like? Are you running the dedicated skill, or are you using it in an aggro deck? With the other options. Okay, so what is Blue Eyes Rain? Skill can only be used if all the monsters with 1700 and the deck contains 7 or more level 5 or higher monsters. That sounds really rough. I mean, we can run Torna, so maybe it's not all that bad. Yeah, but the thing is, in order to use Blue Eyes Bright Dragon properly, we need to actually have the Blue Eyes normal monster in our hand, which is where Advanced Burst Draw comes into play. Dragons, let's find Soul Drake. It's over here. Okay. And then we take out some of these Kime rulers. Currently, we only have 3 boss monsters, though. So we probably do want something else. Maybe an Ancient Rise Dragon would fit the bill. Obviously, if we had a light option, it would be even better. But I don't think we do. Bright Dragons, Blue Eyes, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, obviously we have the guaranteed draw of the Blue Eyes. And once we get 1 boss monster, we are able to use the Soul Drake to kind of revive them. But I'm thinking Bright Dragon is able to blow up the monsters. So what we really want is Monster Reincarnation to serve as another way to get to our tributes. Where is it? Let's bring that in. And then SL doesn't do a whole lot for this kind of list. We have a lot of advantage generators, but not that much that we are able to do with them. So we want to find some way to beat set 3. So maybe we are actually running Torna anyway. Let's find 1600 and add them in. And where does that put us? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 high levels. And now that's probably a bit too many. Ancient Rise, we will ditch. Though actually it is a target for the Phoenix Dragon. So I kind of like it. Welcome, Starboy. And I'm glad you're having a good time. We are about to get into some big gaming with the dragons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 3, 6, 7, 8. That's a little bit high. Maybe we cut out one of the Dragon's Infernos for another low level. But we actually need to have effect monsters to use Soul Drake. So we want to cut down on these for something that's going to be an effect monster. And that means we should be running the Beast Engine rather than the Aquas, because it comes with Pug Pikachu and Silverwolf to make things happen. But then we need to cut out a couple more cards. We can get rid of the Mage, and maybe 1 Torna. leaving us with 5 bosses and plenty of spell and trap cards. Alright, we have a Blue Eyes deck built. Now it's time to take this onto the ladder. Use the field spell of light. If you are referring to Shining City Knights, this card is on the limited 3 list. And with Blue Eyes Bright Dragon and Phoenix Dragon, there is no space for this, unfortunately. If we had Mountain in the game, I would consider running a copy though. Congrats on hitting the max level, Justin. I'm still a pretty fair away from that myself. Alright, let's see how Blue Eyes functions. Wait, but actually Soul Drake stops our level 7 and lower monsters from attacking. What an awkward deck to build around. I think that Ancient Ice Dragon is going to be really weird. And with only 2 Coven Man, the dedicated Blue Eye skill becomes even weirder. So I do think Advanced Burst Draw might be the way to go for any free-to-play player. We are up first, and unfortunately our Essels are not ready to set up. I think we will go ahead and... I mean, we could use the Phoenix Dragon to try to get something using our Essels. But I want to keep the Coven Man around as we have 3 potential draws. That will work for us. Oh, congrats. Moving into a cheaper area is always nice. Alright, looks like Durcius is also going to be on Blue Eyes, I think. If they are running the Summoning Sorcerer Dorotheo. But maybe it's Magician Shuffle. No, we do see a Blue Eyes White Dragon right from the start. We have to be ready to battle. Obviously, Slime is not doing anything for us here. Soul Drake also not going to get us anywhere. So now it becomes time to stall. But we do need to actually take damage in order to search out the Blue Eyes White Dragon from our deck. But I see no reason not to just set another monster. I could have used the Essel to fill up the graveyard and potentially set up a Soul Drake. Maybe that would have been a good idea. We see a Coven Man into a Bright Dragon, but fortunately all of our monsters are face down. So they aren't going to be able to destroy any of our monsters and get in for those crazy swings. The Essel, 2 Righteous Dragon. Oh, and 2 Dragon Knight of Darkness. That makes sense. I mean, we are going to be sitting here setting monsters for a while until we are able to bring out our own Bright Dragon and clear their board with it. Set 1 and set 2. Doing further. Oh, a Dragon's Return. I do wonder if the Dragonic Pressure, would be a good idea. In Metagios, I think it makes a lot of sense. With this deck, there's a kind of weird half warrior spellcaster kind of focus. And there goes our Buffered Slime. A card I was really hoping to use, a little bit more effectively. I mean, we can bring in the Bright Dragon, but that's not going to really get us anywhere. Soul Drake is not live. And if they bring in a new Bright Dragon, we kind of just blow up. But I'm not seeing many other good options. So let's start with a Pokemon Chew. Return the Silver Wolf to the deck, and grab a small monster. Then, we don't have Soul Drake access, but we can bring in All-Seeing White Tiger. And Kaibaman. And then, rather than using Kaibaman's effect, we are actually just going to normal summon it completely as normal. This allows us to Dragon's Inferno, while simultaneously removing the big liabilities from our board. Bright Dragon activates the effect, and we battle, clearing out the biggest threats. Bright Dragon and Light Sorcerer. The 3k Blue Eyes White Dragon is still probably going to be able to get in. But as long as they don't find another way to get to Bright Dragon, we are in an okay spot. We see an immediate Kaibaman using the effect, and now danger is imminent. The 2 3,000 attack point monsters are game as long as they have a 1,300 or higher monster in hand. And there it is. Essel is only 1,000 actually. We might just survive with a few hundred. But no. Torn to the Windweaver reveals itself, ending the game. Unfortunately, they removed our buffered slime, which would have provided a ton of value here. I'll go ahead and send them a nice. I do think my build is definitely not optimal. Obviously, in addition to only having 2 copies of the thing, I'm not on the dedicated Blue Eyes skill, and I don't entirely know what the right ratios for everything are. I'll only be revisiting the deck in a couple of days, once players better at deck building than I have started working out what to run with it. We'll run 2 more games with Blue Eyes. And then after that, it'll be time for Metagios. And we'll see how it fares. Interestingly enough, Adrago is the one that I've had the most success with out of everything we've tried today so far. Alright, and we are up, speaking of Adrago, we are up against a Nail. And they are not on an archive skill. But it does look like they are running Maximum Ragnarok rather than Beyond Curiosity, which was my skill of choice for the Attitude Hydron Turbo, which are a Dragon's Inferno. But nothing to actually play here. All we can do is set 5 and pass it over. So Metagios is the main other big player, alongside machines. So I mean, we make sure we have the 3rd Metagios, we play with that a little bit, and then we go into that selection box, and we will see how we fare. Aronica says, are we testing Blue Eyes? I am. Welcome to the stream. I wasn't sure if LFG meant looking for game, but I was going to say, Ironiclass, if you want to jump in a duel room with me, I will absolutely play some games with you. Just let me know. Let's see what Mr. Goha has up their sleeve. They don't do much of anything, though. Unfortunately, we draw all of the back row in our deck, apparently. We're gonna bring in the Essel. Just try to get Soul Drake online by sending one of our monsters to the graveyard. Blue Eyes in the grave is great. Let's flip over the Silver Wolf and head into battle. Just start slowly chipping away at these defense vision monsters. Not much else to do here. I'm kind of expecting a boss monster to come out this turn. And maybe the Sword and Shield will be able to help us with it. Oh, Chaos Femtron activating. And there goes the Attitude Hydron I was worried about. Alright, Hydron number 1 onto the board. But, 10 Cyberburst Engrave to clear the Essel is actually kind of asking for a lot. Connector Dog on board, but I wouldn't want to tribute that one off. Unless your hand is crazy. Alright, Adrago, that is the piece most likely to be tributed off. We see Ragnarok. And if they put a card back on top, it is going to be sent straight to the graveyard by the Hydron's effect. They do choose top, though. Maybe they had an extra monster they didn't need. 2 bosses coming in. Things look scary, but they aren't as bad as they seem. We have a Sword and Shield to protect one of our monsters, and we have plenty of trap cards in our hand to set once we activate Dragon's Inferno and Talismanic Seal Array to deal with the other monster on the next turn. What do I think about the new Blue Eye structure deck? I think it is actually a really cool move by Konami to give us 2 Tornas, 2 Light Sorcerer Sanctity, as reprints, and the Curtain of Sparks as well. Alright, this is actually a 1 and 3 to be pretty disastrous, but they hit the Inferno instead. I don't know if the Blue Eyes deck itself is going to be a top tier strategy. And I am a free-to-play player, which means I unfortunately don't know a ton of ways to make it so that I can personally test them. But overall, the structure is great, even for a free-to-play player, because it has freed so many cards from the paywall. Okay, our move, and we have a Soul Drake set up. Pocket Chew is sitting right there. Unfortunately, it isn't live, as we only have the Silver Wolf ready to go. Let's start with Soul Drake. Then we can theoretically Essel to try to get more monsters into the graveyard, but we already know we want to revive the Blue Eyes White Dragon anyway, so I don't think it makes a difference. Let's go ahead and Soul Drake. Send both of these to grave. Then Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Essel attributed off for Torna, providing a pretty reasonable looking board. Throw down 2 more face down cards, including Negate Attack, one of the few cards capable of stopping a maximum monster. We are keeping the Talismanic Seal Array in case an Yggdrago comes down. Unfortunately, it looks like a Widespread Ruin might be connecting, but they don't activate anything. Entirely possible their face down card is a copy of the barrier, and we have just barely enough life points to not make it. Work on the Blue Eyes. I do need to go check on that selection box. Machines are the other major deck, apart from Metagios, that I still need to test. And it really relies on drawing into some of those, Gold Rush from the free packs, which is obviously a bit of a questionable endeavor. Alright, we see them setting up another Maximum Ragnarok play, but only for a single boss monster. Very odd. Even though they bring in an Attitude here, the Connector Dog isn't able to clear Torna. So I'm surprised to be seeing this thing sitting still in attack mode. I mean, I suppose they will change to defense eventually. But they are taking their time. I personally am a fan of the Maximum Summons. Obviously, it can feel pretty bad to lose to it sometime, but they are a lot of fun to build a deck around. Alright, we see a Talismanic Seal Array. And it looks like they have no boss monster. Otherwise, they would have debuffed their Yggdrago as well as the Torna. Seal Array is going to reduce Blue Eyes pretty significantly, but we could go for the Negate Attack. To prevent losing our legend. But then we do find ourselves in a lot more danger if they bring in a maximum on a future turn. But with no cards in hand, the odds of finding an Yggdrago are actually really low, which means I think it is safe to use Negate Attack. We'll even be able to use Torna to flip over that final monster, potentially before flipping into a Bright Dragon. Unfortunately, we don't draw any good tribute monsters here. Let's go ahead and Torna get a card out of our hand. Gazelle will set up a future Pocket Chew, and we can flip this up. It is a regular Femtron. Not a huge deal. We still have Buffered Slime to prevent losing on the next turn, even if we get hit by a big Widespread Ruin. So let's start swinging in, saving the Talismanic Seal away for later as well. I am kind of expecting them to have a copy of the barrier face down, but it is actually their own negate attack, giving them another turn. Let's see how they out this board. Obviously, any of their boss monsters are going to be able to use Maximum Ragnarok to deal with the Blue Eyes White Dragon down to 2200. But we can actually survive against an Yggdrago. And then we'll have our Talismanic Seal Array plus a Soul Drake to kind of get in against it. Heavy Lady Sisters is probably the strongest one when it comes down. Obviously, Magma Overlord is designed to win you the game on the turn summon, but players are at least able to expect it a little bit. The Harpy one, on the other hand, feels like sacking. So you're very rarely actually prepared for it. We see the Attitude Hydron, drawing them an additional card. We could use the Buffered Slime here, but I don't think we need to, at least not yet. If they aren't presenting a lethal push, then I don't want to do it. Bellsectical Manny, coming in. Also, I am taking 2000 damage if I activate the Buffered Slime on the first attack, so I might choose to wait. We see a Chaos Femtron, and they have actually gone in pretty hard here. They have another boss ready in hand. And they want to try surviving the turn without the slime. So that's 1100. Plus, yeah, we are fine. This is not lethal. I'll say fine, like another Hydron and another Chaos Femtron. We can turn off the toggle. As you can see, that's 2000, but it means the Chaos Femtron actually isn't going to be clearing any of my monsters. Which means they might actually be doing that to play around my, my skill. So if that was intentional, pretty smart. And once again, we draw nothing in terms of playable cards here. That's rough. I mean, we could have Soul Draked, but that's not nearly enough. I'm going to just try to play a little bit defensively for a turn. Let them run over the monsters, and then see what happens next. What do I think about the Chaos Femtron? I think Chaos Femtron is the best card in the box. It makes the Cyber stack significantly better. Alright, we do see the Yggdrago coming in. And unfortunately, with Yggdrago, I am unable to use Buffered Slime because it is not a level 8 or lower monster. So Blue Eyes is catching one more stray. I think I need to go copy someone else's build later on. Rather than keep trying with whatever this substandard option is. Of course, only having 2 Bright Dragons has made finding the cards I need pretty difficult. I will send my opponent nice, and we will move on to the next game. So, back into the shop. I want to make sure we have 3 Meta Gyas, and have finished clearing out the box. Shop. Head over to the mini box. So far, our first run, we managed to save a full 33 packs. Let's see if we're able to do it any better with this one. We have the Avian Spell Tactics. But also, now that I think about it, we might want to not pull the third Mirror Innovator just yet. We have the Ice Sark, the Meta Gyas, the Stockbuster, and we know they like to release these random bundles halfway through. So if I just say, hey, 2 copies of Mirror Innovator is probably good for now, and I don't care about Psychics, I can actually buy whatever bundle they publish next when it releases. Which means we're going to head over to the selection box, and it's time to gamble. 35 purchase limit. we are looking to find a copy of 7 Shift. What will it be? Sparkheart's Girl number 2. Not quite what we wanted to see. We will reset the box as soon as 7 Shift shows up, by the way. Because all the other ones are either 2 copies per box or reprints. It's going to take a little bit of luck. We find Siesta Hold, probably the worst possible card to get as the SR. I mean, it is a new card, so I guess it is better than something like another 7-Zone Mage that I don't need. Hopefully the 7 Shift is not at the bottom of the box. We would like to be able to get at least 2 of each of the URs. But it is going to be looking pretty scary. I think this is actually a bit of a more fun box opening for the viewer than my normal one, because I actually do not have the ability to get 3 full runs of the box. We find our first Siesta Torero, which I don't hate. But let's go over to the Lifetime Mission tab. Filter by gems. And let's try claiming them. And see how many we end up with. Receive all. The selection box is expensive because Konami wants to obtain a ton of money. Wait, was that only 3,700 gems? Definitely less than I thought it would be. But I am not out of the running yet. I have gems hidden in many places. For now, let's head to the selection box and see if we can pull our first 7 Shift. We get a Prima Guitarna. You know what? I think that's actually the worst possible pull, because I do not care about the Psychics. We get a Recital. Don't need that at all. And 7-Zone Mage, another dead pull. 8 packs left in the first run. And it looks like we are not finding the 7 Shift just yet. We find a 7-Zone Magician, but I don't care about that either. Thank you for the follow, Juan. We get our second Cervero. But this is exactly what I meant. We are pretty likely to get 3 of the other cards. And there it is. Our first 7 Shift. 4 packs left in the box. Let's reset. We definitely don't need to go for 3 CS to hold. And the Alt Art Currybot is fine as a miss. We have 24 packs in the box. And we are only able to purchase 20 more. It is not a guaranteed thing. But we would love to find a second 7 Shift and a second Gold Rush. Wish me luck. Alright, another Overroad 7's Road Magician. Over Rush Rare. Another Recital. Completely useless. We have plenty of those. Show me the URs. The relevant ones. Only 16th pack left, and we still have 4 things we need to pull. The odds of getting even just 2 copies of both of these cards is somewhat low. And it continues to decrease every time we open a pack. We would need them to be in the middle of this box and then right at the top of the next one. A few more packs to go. We are running out of the gems, but it is time to restock the gems once more. What we can do is head over to DM World. One says, have to buy the Evil Twin card to get the premium card to get the duel card. I don't know what that means, unfortunately. So what we're going to do is head over to, a couple of these should be relatively high-level characters. And we can see there, 250 gems from Kaiba coming up. And that'll be another selection box pull. We are doing our best out here. Yeah, I do think the free Blue Eyes and the free Structure deck is a good move. Also, I forgot I had actually set Mountain, thinking it would work on Beast Warriors, but it's on Winged Beasts instead. So no synergy with the skill and the deck here. But obviously I haven't taken it into ranked or anything, so it's not a huge issue. Hopefully the deck will finish up the auto duel, and we will get the cards that we need. Or the gems. We have some dual orbs, which we are going to use to refresh. Oh, and we were just barely missing it. Time to go fight the standard, or the, legendary duelist in each world. We can go here and fight Mako. And if we lose, we are so close to leveling up that it should work. Yeah, so the UR Rush Dream Ticket, I'm almost definitely going to be using on one of these structure deck cards. Probably something like a Volt Condor, or another Sword Dawn Magician. But maybe I will save it for a little bit, just in case a new ban list release happens, and makes one of those cards significantly better or worse. If it's from a box, I do have all of them. I think the Luminites are pretty strong, definitely able to hit King of Games if you have an optimized list for them. Mine is far from perfect, but they serve me well enough when I do choose to run them on the ladder. Let's head over to Dark Side of Dimensions World and see if we have anybody that we are trying to level up. Level 16, that's a 60 gem. 100 from Yugi sounds pretty good to me. Go until we find the legendary duelist in this world. And it's Bakura. What is the special thing about the selection box? So basically it is a limited time selection with cards that are essentially paywalled. You're only able to purchase a given number of packs from it. Compared to the normal boxes, which are always around, and you're able to do completely free 3 full sets of pulls. So basically it's RNG on whether or not you're able to build the decks from a selection box without expending all of your gem resources. Or the credit card. So you managed to level up, which means it's time to head over into another world. GX, and I'll probably be able to level up a character like Jaden or Yubel for a decent amount of gems. Looks like Jaden is up at level 26. Oh, but I actually have him on the wrong thing. He is not set up to give me gems. So we're gonna just loop around a little bit and see if any of these are at a decent level. Looking for 50 or higher. Alexis might be the winner. No problem with that. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have been leveling up any of those ones to a super high level. So we'll take Alexis and grab the 50 extra gems. I don't know if we are actually just one duel away from it. So we'll go ahead and fight the Vagabond here. Just let it auto duel. Sonic. That is actually incorrect. The 500 gems are 10 packs of a normal box, whereas the 200 gems is for a single pull. It's only 1 pack for every 200 gems instead of 50. So they are much more expensive. Alright, we will get OTK'd by the Suship deck. And be able to move on to the next world. We have a White Princess in hand, but the AI just doesn't know how this card works at all. Oh, and we actually still don't manage to level up. Which means we are going to fight the Supreme King Jaden NPC in this world as well. Thank you for the follow. Kofanton. I guess I'll go send a vagabond over to somebody else. I don't fight the vagabonds very often at all. So I kind of forgot that was even an option. And unlike the vagabond, this should be a pretty straightforward win. We have a monster with over 4,000 attack and get in for a quick OTK. And that should give us enough for a few more packs. So let's see if we manage to find either of the cards we are looking for. 560. Enough for 2 packs. But we can get a third one if we do one more world worth of character. Presumably Yusei or Leo are going to be pretty high level here. Yeah, 120 gems waiting for me to claim them. Oh, and there was the Carly. I completely missed it. And we might as well also grab the keys while we're here. Okay. Let's go and let Clehort take that out. Sorry you weren't able to find the third Mirror Innovator, Red Fire. I'm sure you'll be enjoying it in your Magician Shovel lists once you grab it. Alright, we see, a pretty powerful deck, apparently. Somehow we are losing to the Fortune Fairies. Magical Exemplar, just repeatedly boosting itself up. But we managed to get through it, and the Wonder Wand is no longer a threat. What are they doing, though? I literally don't know. Grabbing the Metageas on the bundle sounds like fun. I don't think we got anything super crazy from our opening. But we did get enough where we were able to reset pretty early on the first run. Okay. Hopefully that was enough. It was not. I'll go ahead and use the double chance. More box gems seems worth it. Unfortunately, I feel like if they did ban Dragias, the Limit 3 list would be a lot different looking. Unfortunately, they simply are not going to do it. It is the ace monster of a main character. Alright, purchasing another pack of the box. And once again, the 2 relevant cards dodge us. And we find a second 7 shift. All we need is the 1 remaining Gold Rush. And we'll probably be in a good spot. A 7 out of 11 chance of doing it. But before we do that, let's build Metageas. And I suppose we will use a dedicated skill. We can go ahead and replace the Blaster's Inferno deck, which I don't think I have any plans to ever play again. Which character theme is my favorite? I maybe like Sora's or Silvio's. Those ones tend to be pretty fun. Alright, we have Full Metal Fist here. We had to run 1 Dragias. And then we can recycle the level 7s with the skill. So we need dragons. Metageas, 1 Dragias, and then maybe some Stockbusters. The card is very bad, but it is able to be added back with the skill and then discarded to get more attacks in. Oh, and we're actually able to run Phoenix Dragon here. That is always a plus. Is that it for requirements? Because that is 6 high-level monsters. I guess it is. Okay. So we go over to the Aqua Engine. We're gonna need to generate some card advantage. So we go like that, and maybe even a Currybot, or 3. Machines, and... Oh, Currybot is actually a fiend, despite being literally a machine. I want to make sure we have our big trap cards. I think this deck, Metagios can only attack monsters, so negate attack makes a lot of sense. Only 1500 defense, and 1600 on the boss monsters. So Sword and Shield, maybe not that impactful. But we will always be running a Buffered Slime. Seems like a pretty strong card. Then we will go for Shield and Sword. And a couple of copies of Dragon's Inferno to remove that back row. And every other... And like most decks, we are going to need some Talismanic Seal Arrays. And that's 2, 4, 6, 7 spell trap cards and 6 high levels. Pretty close to being on the verge of kind of bricky. Let's check out the other options. I think we just want to run some dragon monsters. Throw in a few winged dragons and a couple of Dragonites, and we probably call it a day there. We could be running Curse of Dragon here as a level 5 Dark Attribute monster that becomes 2600 for just 1 tribute. But then we aren't ever going to actually be able to trigger the Metagas skill if we are cutting Shockbusters for a non-level 7. Which is why I am a little bit suspicious of this deck being as good as it might at first seem. But we will head to the ladder and find out. Let's go ahead and duel. I'm up against Faizu on Yuga. And I'm pretty sure they went first. And this is kind of exactly what I was expecting. We draw a bunch of level 7 monsters and spell and trap cards we aren't able to use. The Dragon Experience. Overall, like I've been saying, my first impressions of the box have been not so good. Nothing we can do there. But we will give Full Metal Fist another shot. So we've run Blue Eyes with the Archive skill, Advanced Burst Draw, and also with the Red Eye strategy. But we actually haven't yet done Blue Eyes with its own intended skill. So that's probably going to be what we build next. Do Metagios, then come back around for that. La Moon, we are up first. And we can actually set up both the Aqua Engine and the Currybot at the same time. They are on an Archive skill, so it could be Harpies. But it's more likely to be Blue Eyes, so we are going to set a card here, rather than leaving the Dragonite in attack mode. we see a Torna flipping over a monster, and it is confirmed to be a Blue Eyes deck of some variety. But they are also running Clear Ice Dragon, which is a little bit weird. Our move, and we don't draw any boss monsters, which is pretty rough. We can throw down a Winged Dragon, cheap it off for the Metageos. But, I mean, they only have one monster, so I guess Metageos actually wasn't going to be doing anything anyway. Throw in Winged Dragon, and we have the Greybot for next turn, as well as a Phoenix Dragon, to make sure we are able to make our plays. Let's go ahead and use Full Metal Fist, and we get to see how cool this skill is. I have a 2500 attack point monster, and it becomes 2600. Pretty impressive. Am I right? My skill provides 100 attack boost. And that's it. Very unimpressed with what it's doing. Alright, here comes the Blue Eyes Rain. Revealing Kyberman to add that Blue Eyes Bright Dragon. I mean, as long as they aren't able to bring out the White Dragon again, it's fine. But we see a Soul Drake immediately coming down, and we are in trouble. They choose not to go for the mills with Essel. I suppose everything is already set up for them. Blue Eyes White Dragon, boosting up and removing Metageos from the board. And then Talisman Auxiliary. What a push. We are probably not going to win this game. Notably, Stockbuster Dragon is never going to be able to use the effect because they only have 3 cards on board. And Metageos doesn't even clear the Blue Eyes White Dragon on its own. Once again, we have failed to draw relevant cards here. Obviously, we need to Phoenix Dragon, but I don't want to pay any life points for the Curry Bot. So we're probably just going to send it away for the effect. Grab Metageos again. Then we can Seahorse Carrier. Activate its effect. Get another low-level monster. Bring out the Metageos. But we aren't even able to really use the effect here. Like, we can activate the skill, but we don't have any other level 7s in the graveyard. Which means we are completely unplayable here. We shuffle back our cards. And we can reduce the Blue Eyes Bright Dragon, but we have to reduce this one. But that doesn't reduce it enough. It's a tie with the Winged Dragon. But, I mean, we have to do what we have to do. Set the negate attack. And start swinging. See if we're able to clear the Bright Dragon. We do. Trade with the Blue Eyes. And then Lamoon goes in. As long as they don't draw into a Dragon's Inferno. Our chance to come back is basically activating the negate attack. And then we draw into level 7 monsters and win the game. By going in for a big counter push. They are down to just 900 life. But have we seen any Dragon's Inferno so far? We have not. Will they find it? Interestingly, we see a Phoenix Dragon, which means they aren't on 3 bright. But they do have another Soul Drake, and they have the Inferno. We know a 3000 attack point monster is going to be 1800 into the Lamoon. So any more normal summons, and that is game. Dragon's Inferno potentially clutching it up. However, Soul Drake means that the level 7 and lower monsters can't attack. And a Bright Dragon and a Blue Eyes would actually leave me... Well, if they get both of them out, I'm dead. But a Soul Drake into the level 8, swinging over the Lamoon, leaves me with just 100 life points remaining. Just barely enough. Welcome, Michael. Hope you're having a good day. Have you been enjoying any of the new cards from the boxes? Alright, we take 500. Not too bad. Yeah, I'll absolutely do some games. Let me just finish up losing against this Blue Eyes player. Of course, Stockbuster Dragon, not able to do anything because, once again, they only have 4 cards on board. Which means we are forced to set, and we only get 2 monsters. Things are looking rough. We just aren't able to beat over the 3,000. If regular duel means speed duels, then no. I only play Rush, for the most part. Alright, we see a Piercing Samurai. Not that it matters. They're bringing in the Torna and are going to win the game that way. Alright, they swing in. Wait, we actually somehow survived. And it's our move. Shield and Sword. Is that going to be able to do it? We might have actually just won the game. Let's Shield and Sword. Then we summon out 2 low-level monsters. Stockbuster Dragon would be able to use the effect, but we want to make sure we don't get hit by a widespread ruin. They haven't used their legend trap yet. And there's a chance this is exactly what we need. But if they have negate attack, it is still over. Metagias is going to send Stockbuster to the grave. And now we boost up by 100. And we fight. Will we make it? Swing into the Torna. And there is the negate attack to ruin the game. The barrier would not have stopped us, but negate attack is definitely strong enough to do so. Right, Dragon coming in alongside another Clear Ice. And it is time for us to copy this deck and bring it onto the ladder. Metagias not feeling all that good. And then after the Blue Eyes, we might just go back to Yggdrago Turbo. That has definitely been the most fun deck we have played tonight. Yeah, I mean, we brought out a double attacking boss monster that was even immune to widespread ruin, and we still managed to lose. Let's see what their deck is like. 3 Kaibaman. So they did, and 3 Soul Drake. Unfortunately, we aren't going to have some of these options. Let us copy the deck, and we'll do what we can. Over the other Blue Eyes deck that we aren't running anymore. Obviously, we can't run 3 Kaibaman or 3 Soul Drake or a card we don't own. And I will also be taking out a Clear Ice for the 3rd Torna. For sure. Other than that, what are we supposed to be running? I mean, I'd throw in Currybot for a little bit of advantage. And that seems pretty good to me. Though, maybe just a Dragorite would be the better play. Get in a little bit more aggressively. I mean, we already have the Kaibaman and the Soul Drake for recurring our bosses. Change active. And we will see how it goes. Wait, so we can actually replace, I'm pretty sure we can replace the Clear Ice with a better 1 tribute. No. Okay. Let me read what the requirement is. Does it need to be an effect monster? Only, oh, it can't have more than 1,600. Right. Alright, then I guess Clear Ice might just be the best option then. We look at monsters with under 1,600 attack and under 1,700 defense. And they need to be level 5 or 6. The other option would be a Gravity Pressed Dragon, which might not be that bad, honestly. Probably better than a Clear Ice. But Clear Ice is resilient to Shield and Sword, which is a pretty popular card. So we will run it as is. Time to give Blue Eyes a third chance. Thank you, Starboy. I appreciate it a ton. And if you wanted to use it on the Blue Eyes deck, I will do so. So far I've been free to play, but part of the thing that I do is, members or people that donate, like, you can tell me to buy a specific thing, and I will do it if you're actually giving me the money to do so. Oh, I actually know Yasi. They participate in our point battles, which we will be running, tomorrow. In approximately, 14 hours from now. So it'll be fun to see the first big event with the new box. I think we're just gonna go ahead and set everything here. Let's see what they go for. So presumably they are going to be on the Cyber stack. As we said, I think it is actually a tiered strategy at this point. Though I haven't tried Maximum Ragnarok. I've mostly been playing with Beyond Curiosity to take advantage of Chaos Femtron the most. Setting up the graveyard for those huge 4,000 plus attack point after shoot Hydrons. I wonder what they are thinking about. Cyber stacks traditionally don't really have any way to pierce. So they might be choosing whether or not to summon 2 or 3, like, go wide with your 1500s, or make a double boss board. That's basically the only thing I can really think of as, oh, okay, a turn 1 Yggdrago, but we do have the Talismanic Seal Array. As long as we are able to find enough ways to get cards into the graveyard, we can flip up the Seal Array. And maybe we will be alright. Alright, we see Ragnarok debuffing the Soul Drake. Piercing Samurai is going to be able to send 1 card to the graveyard. And then I contribute 2 more for a boss, assuming I drew it. But I do not. But I drew a Kaibaman, which means we can activate Blue Eyes Rain. Let's go ahead and return one of these, Essels into the deck. Wait. How exactly do I want to do it? Let's return a Kaibaman into the deck. Reveal Kaibaman. Add Blue Eyes White Dragon. Summon Essel. Essel effect, milling presumably more monsters. Perfect. All part of the plan. No boss monsters though, unfortunately. Blue Eyes White Dragon comes down next. 1 and... Well, hold on. That Phoenix Dragon might be able to get something if I tribute off the other way. 1 and 2. Then we use Essel number 2. And send even more monsters into the graveyard. If we flip something good, then we can flip up the Phoenix Dragon. But we do not. So instead, we set the Monster Reincarnation. And we will buff the Bright Dragon, giving us 1 more chance to find a good card. But we didn't find a single tribute monster in all of that, which is a little bit unfortunate. But it is fine. We will Talismanic Seal Array, shuffle back in the Kaibaman, the Soul Drake, and our Piercers. And this will debuff the Yggdrago to the point where we are able to attack. Though I am thinking maybe we shouldn't have gotten aggressive with the Essel. But we do have the buffered slime to kind of protect us as long as particle acceleration or another Yggdrago doesn't come down. It's only turn 4. And they do the turn 1 maximum. It should be okay. I'm thinking of replacing some of my tribute monsters for 2,500 attack monsters with only 1 tribute. If you're talking about in the Metagiasta. I do think Curse of Dragon being a 1 tribute 2,600 does have value. But it means you're not resolving the Metagiasta effect because you're never going to have the level 7 monsters in the graveyard that you need to actually use the double attack. And at that point, you should really be playing Dragias instead. So you should just be playing Hammer Crush Deal, or even Life Point Gain, or Blue Eyes Advanced Burst Draw. Jerry Beansman? Yeah, so you get 1 copy of the gem, 1 copy for 500 gems, and a second copy of the Blue Eyes deck for 0 gems. And the third one does require money. Every now and then, some of the structure decks release with a free additional copy. Instead of having 2 on the paywall, there's only 1. Alright, a Chaos Semptron is coming down. But that's only 400 damage. I'm fine with that. They have set 2 face downs. But we see the all-important negate attack is in the grave. And here comes a pretty impressive board. Phoenix Dragon, flip up. And Soul Drake before tributing off for the Bright Dragon. But we aren't done there, as of course we have our one and only Kaibaman. And the Blue Eyes White Dragon in our hand as well. With this, Chaos Semptron is going down. Though I suppose we are actually a little bit weaker to a copy of Slime now. Maybe. Let's go ahead and set the Talismanic Seal Array. And we can start doing in for game. As long as 2 of our cards connect. But they do indeed have the slime. I'll swing in with this one and pass it over. Jerry Beansman, I'm not gonna ask for anyone to actually subscribe or give me money. Totally up to you. I'm mostly here to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And share the experience with everyone. I run the ads or whatever. Oh, which does remind me, I should actually probably time my break. I should probably be paying more attention to when the pre-rolls are starting. Alright, we see a monster reincarnation. They might be going for another Yggdrago. Unfortunately, our negate attack is done. So even though we have an amazing field, the second Yggdrago, is gonna go in and finish up the game. Once again, we have the buffered slime, but we aren't able to actually use it because the Yggdrago is level 10. So that is going to be game. Maximum Ragnarok, debuffing, Blue Eyes Bright Dragon. We have the other Steel Array. As long as we had a little bit more health, we would have been okay. Maybe I should have used that buffered slime on the 400 from the Chaos Femtron. But I'm thinking it probably was still lethal either way. Our deck did what it was supposed to do. But we just weren't able to keep up with 2 copies of Yggdrago. Alright, we are up first. Torna Pass is a pretty weak looking board. But I think we go for it. There's always a chance they didn't draw any tribute monsters of their own. And if they did, we still have cards like Negate Attack and Buffered Slime as insurance from a crazy lethal. So let's see what they say. They start by setting a monster. But they cheap it off for the Fire Guardian. And they have an Inferno. I could go ahead and negate attack, but I feel like I definitely want to save it for a more impactful turn. But also they have searchable blasters Infernos. So I want to use the back row whenever I'm actually able to. So let's just go for it and see what we do. Keeping Torna alive also means we're going to flip up whatever the low attack monster they decided to set was. We managed to draw a Kyberman and a Blue Eyes Bright Dragon. If we activate the skill, we will be able to get both copies of Bright Dragon onto the board. Let's go ahead and return Dragonite into the deck. Reveal Kyberman. Grab Bright Dragon. Obviously, if we manage to somehow mill the Blue Eyes, we can even use Soul Drake, but we are not quite that lucky. Oh, but I can use Soul Drake this way. I use Torn the Windweaver and ditch the Bright Dragon, flipping over this. Then Soul Drake comes onto the board and is able to activate the effect by sending itself away with my Essel, reviving the discarded copy of Bright Dragon. Then we use Kyberman and activate the effect as well, bringing in our second Bright Dragon. If this was Blue Eyes, it'd be even better. But as is, we already have an incredibly powerful push. Let's clear out our free 3,000 damage, and then I want to just leave them low. I don't mind leaving the Fire Guardian around. We have 6,000 life and Buffered Slime, so it should be difficult for them to do a lethal push. So they had the torso for a Shock Dragon, and that is actually quite bad for us. Obviously, Shock Dragon is going to be able to debuff both Bright Dragons at the same time. Making it a much more threatening board clear than I was expecting. But as long as they don't bring in another Dragon's Inferno, we don't die. We could use the Slime here. But we don't need to. But I guess I would have had way more life left than had I kept it around. I would have been at 4,000 instead of 1,800, and I think that might have been a misplay not to use it here. We have a Phoenix Dragon. That is a good start. I think we want to Essel. Activate the effect. Just get more monsters into the grave. Then we really want to draw into a boss. Wait, we have the Phoenix Dragon. So we are going to Dragon's Return. Let's return the Soul Drake, one Bright Dragon, and a Dragonite. This leaves our options open. We still have the Phoenix Dragon, able to return Bright Dragon from the grave, but we also can use this Blue Eyes. The issue is they have 2 set cards, which are really problematic. Really, either one is going to be a big issue. Phoenix Dragon. I mean, I kind of want to use it just to get the Torna out of my hand. So let's get rid of Torna and grab a copy of Bright Dragon. Then we can summon Blue Eyes White Dragon and Talismanic Seal Away to debuff the Shock Dragon and try to get in for game. We are going to be returning Kaleidomirror, Phoenix Dragon, and these ones. But of course, this probably isn't going to work. With 2 back row, I'm expecting a negate attack, or that, I suppose. But we have just enough to lethal. Thanks to the Talismanic Seal Array, we inflict exact 1400. Welcome, Cyclone. I have heard that the Ash Blossom is in the Tour Guide deck. I do wonder if you guys will be getting it anytime soon, or if it'll remain an NPC-only card for the significant future. They are on a 40 card deck, and we drew 3 Essels going second. Classic behavior. I want to keep one of the Essels around over the Dragorite because milling is actually quite good for our deck. We need to get a monster in the graveyard for cards like Phoenix Dragon and Soul Drake to do their jobs. So we'll see how it works. And also they are on Servant of Dawn with their own Essel, sending a Mega Zowler. Fortunately though, we at least managed to get rid of one of their legend cards. Wait, but it's not Servant of Dawn. As the Celebrantosaurus is not able to use its effect. Or is not compatible with only 1000 defense. Servant of Dawn decks require everything that has high enough attack to also have 1200 defense. Alright, our move, and we draw into a ton of tribute monsters, which is probably not really what we want to see. Let's use Essel's effect, and we just send spell and trap cards to the grave. Things are looking a little bit rough. Soul Drake can come out next, and then instead of the Bright Dragon, I think we do just go for our 2/1 tribute monsters. We'll leave the Mega Zowler around. But we'll try to clear over the other monsters. Just swing in normally. And no trap activates. Hopefully, this will work out for us. I am expecting another Mega Zowler to kind of slowly take control of the board. They are thinking, but have started off by setting a monster, which means they might not have an answer. A lone Mega Zowler swinging in is totally fine with me. They even choose not to clear out the Torn of the Windweaver, which is an incredibly questionable choice if they're playing defensively. We find a Soul Drake number 2, but this isn't going to do anything as we still don't have any Bright Dragons set up. Let's bring in Piercing Samurai, Soul Drake, mill a card. And maybe we find the Blue Eyes White Dragon. But we do not. And if that is the case, we will just bring in Blue Eyes Bright Dragon. And I could have pushed a little bit more aggressively here. But I think the Torna. Oh, interesting. We were just 1 card away from it. Alright, still no cards flipping up. So they are on, like, full dinos. If they are running the Dinosaur Crush card, I don't have any set monsters. So it's basically, Oh, thank you, Jerry Beansman. I actually, for some reason, I always miss the notification sounds, but I did at least notice the chat. I really appreciate it. I will absolutely be buying the 3rd copy of the Blue Eyes deck, though probably not until after the stream ends. I need to figure out, how to get things, set up on the account. And I don't want to be sitting here entering credit card information on stream. But I will try to figure it out in the near future. Oh, and they actually have a Prismatic Urabi. This is a card trader card, so it does make some sense. But it is still a bit of an investment to get all of those gems. Not gems. Orbs. Alright, we find the Kaiba Man. And with Monster Reincarnation, we are actually going to be able to combo off. Let's go ahead and start with Blue Eyes Rain. We can return Torrent into the deck. And add Blue Eyes Bright Dragon. Then we Monster Reincarnation. And we can ditch a Piercing Samurai to grab the one and only Virtual Engine of Destruction. Bring in Dragonite, and then another. Tribute them both off for Blue Eyes Bright Dragon. Then, for our final card, we use Kaiba Man. And the Kaiba Man is going to tribute itself off to bring in Blue Eyes, and we have a board filled with tribute monsters. But we aren't done yet. Blue Eyes Bright Dragon is able to mill another card, and simultaneously remove Urabi from the field. And then we are going to use Talismanic Seal Ray to shuffle back all of our most important cards, including Kaiba Man, Soul Drake, and another copy of Bright Dragon. We have a Bright Dragon on board, so even if they manage to out our field, our Soul Drakes would be live, as the monsters currently on board would end up in the grave. Let's swing in with Blue Eyes White Dragon. Obviously a negate attack here would be pretty huge. But the attack does go through. Now, I don't remember if that is a tribute set or not. Opponent drew a bunch of cards and then set... Okay. I think it isn't a Mega Zalor. And I was correct. Swing in with the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And I think their set card must be something like a Phantom Bind. No, we do have a Spellcaster. Okay, a copy of the Guard. And then something else that only works on attack resistant monsters. So one of their other face-down cards is going to be the Sword and Shield Trap. The Limit 1. Fortunately, all my monsters have 2500 defense. Or at least the big ones. Welcome, Onimusha. Alright, enjoy your sleep. Jerry Beansman. And then I just noticed Cyclone is asking if this is only structure deck cards. No, I am running Essel, some Dragonite, Seal Rays, etc. I managed to survive. However, I did just throw away my Seal Ray. And we are kind of just sitting here until we draw it again. We do have a second copy in the deck. So things are not all lost. I mean, I definitely want to grab the Blue Eyes Bright Dragon. We can go ahead and return a Soul Drake into the deck. Reveal Kaiba Man. Grab the Bright Dragon. And then just set everything face down. And we will try to set it up as well. Wait, this thing can just destroy 2 monsters on my field. What's the requirement? Send a monster from hand to grave. They are definitely going to be able to do that. So I think actually we need to just go like this. Setting the Kaiba Man face down and hoping we are able to draw into Talismanic Seal Ray and a way to summon the Blue Eyes Bright Dragon on the next turn. And that they don't have another trap to stop us. Dynamix activating the effect. there go 2 of my monsters, presumably the 2 face down ones. And then show me the Dinosaur Crush to destroy negate attack. No. Give me an extra monster. A round is great. Negate attack should provide a ton of value here. Draw for turn. And unfortunately, it is one of the final cards in our deck. That is rough. We can only set 2 cards this turn. And obviously we need to keep Kaleidomirror around to actually be able to summon the monster. We set 3. And that is all we can do. Buffered Slime, as always, not working. Because we are fighting maximum monsters. Dynamix, going to clear out 2 of my monsters. But it looks like we might manage to survive this turn as well. Our draw. Wait, I thought we had another one. I spent this entire game thinking we only had 1 Talismanic Seal Array when I checked the graveyard. But I missed the other one, and we die. Unfortunately. Also, I do want to note, this is a 40-card deck, and then being able to, find the maximum is pretty unlikely. But unfortunately, not much we can do about it. I will go ahead and show the deck off. Since All Onlin has asked for it. Let's go ahead and see what exactly they were running. Like, what were those cards they had set all game, but never activated? Probably some Ghost Cyclones. Or maybe the Co-Evolutionary Miracle. So they're running, of course, all of the dinosaur monsters and some Essels to try to cheat in the bosses. Makes sense to me. Seems like a fun one. But not something I'm going to be trying myself. Let's give Blue Eyes 1 more spin. And then it becomes Cyber's time. And I'm hoping the Cyber's deck will do as well as it did the first time around. Oh, welcome, Tara. Hope you've been having a fun evening. It must have been a pretty late night for you. We have been losing terribly with all of the new decks. It turns out I'm not very good at deck building. So, whoops. But we are seeing how things go. We are finishing up our Blue Eyes, and we're going to go back to what we started with, which was Cybers, the only deck to give me consistent some wins. I'm missing a couple of the cards I really don't care about, like the Psychics. I have the ability to go get the gems to do it, but I just wanted to get into the games instead of grinding dual orbs for a couple of hours. We're going to go ahead and drop an Essel. See if we can't find something for the Phoenix Dragon to pull. And then Piercing on itself for sure. We can flop the Inferno, destroy this. We can grab another Bright Dragon, but it is going to cost us another one of our monsters. So I'm not sure it's actually even worth it. Let's just cheat off for the Blue Eyes. Then we can Kaleidomirror into Bright Dragon and get in for a little bit of damage, hopefully with the Piercing Samurai. We have Negate Attack and Sword and Shield to protect our board. So we swing on in. And we managed to get a full 1200, and we destroyed the Widespread Ruin all at the same time. things are going well. Let us see what they have on their plate. Notably, they didn't use Maximum Overlord. So, it might be a 7th Axle Road deck. A Sorcerer's Dignity activating the effect right away. Which means they probably don't have any other light spellcasters. But it is turn number 4. And 7th Witch is able to use the effect. Seventh Magician definitely coming in. But we do have our negate attack ready to block this push. And then Blue Eyes Bright Dragon will completely overrun the board. Magician's Valkyria, totally fine with me. We see they also have a Prismatic Talismanic Seal Array. Very pretty, but very ineffective against my trap. Definitely going to go ahead and flip it here. I think I actually could have gotten the kill with Sword and Shield. But don't think I need to do that just yet. Let's go ahead and Blue Eyes Bright Dragon, pop a card. And then we can just do it a second time. Blue Eyes Bright Dragon, destroying also the Magician's Valkyria. Then we bring in Dragonite, and that is game. End of the battle phase. Blue Eyes Bright Dragon attacks. And a direct attack leaves them with just 100 life. Enough for Dragonite to claim a win. Have I tried anything with 7 Shift yet? I have not. I do have 2 copies, I believe, from the selection box. Probably not going to be able to get the 3rd one, unfortunately. How to get Negate Attack? It is over in the Bundle tab. So you'll get the Negate Attack and 17 packs for 950 gems. But we have finished up with the Blue Eyes. Let us go to the Cybers. Beyond Curiosity. Wow. Getting 3 of both of the relevant URs is very lucky. I agree. Congratulations. And they are going to be on Ragnarok. The fun, not quite a mirror match. Let's start off with our Atron. Getting a new card. But it is yet another Atron. So we are going to filter one more time. And we find an Attribute Hydron. Then we have a Chaos Femtron, which I'd kind of like to keep for the next turn. We could activate our Yoctron. Actually, no, we can't. We don't have the Zeptron. But we do want to set these down, and we have the Monster Reincarnation, so I think getting rid of the maximum piece is fine. We know they're on Ragnarok, so they should have trouble actually establishing a strong board with 3 monsters. Let's see how it goes. Unfortunately, the Dragon's Inferno is going to be able to destroy this. Oh, and I didn't even notice it was an archive skill this entire time. They are actually on Blue Eyes, which means by not setting this Femtron, I am taking 3,000 damage. A huge mistake. we find a couple of Zeptrons. But that's not really what we want. All I'm going to do is go for the Femtron, add a card to hand, and look for a low-level monster. Unfortunately, our only option is the Yggdrago, as the Chaos Femtrons have 100 defense. And this means that I only get out a single Attitude Hydron. Things are looking kind of rough. But maybe we will be able to salvage this. We have 12 cards in the graveyard, and most of them are monsters, which means Attitude Hydron itself lets us draw a card. And there it is, a low-level monster. We draw Attron and Zeptron. Tribute them both off for another Attitude Hydron. And once again, we find ourselves drawing a new card. And it's an Yggdrago piece. However, I do think we need to set some cards face down in order to not die. This is 3k damage. This is much less than that. So it's not lethal. And we need the protection if we can get it. We need to clear the Bright Dragon because it is such a powerful removal tool. And then we can clear the Essel since it can provide setup for them that we don't want to give them. Alright, and they actually surrender. Cybers getting a big win in what seemed to be a pretty dangerous situation. That said, we are going to be right back. We've been streaming for over 3 hours, and I haven't had time to get up and stretch or do a water break. So this is a great time if anyone needs to grab a snack or go to the bathroom, etc. We'll be back in just a few minutes. And we'll keep going with Yggdrago. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in so far, and I hope to catch you again in 2 to 3 minutes. And we are back. And let's go ahead and queue up while I see if I missed anything in the chat while I was gone. Yeah, I mean, every now and then I am going to lose. No matter what the difference in power level between decks is. You're always going to have a chance to not draw too well, or the opponent to draw the one card they need, in order to play. Alright, we opening up with a ton of trap cards, and a peacock to help load up the grave. But we also do have 2 of the Yggdrago pieces already in hand. So we could theoretically, opt not to do this line and simply set the cards and end. But I think we do want to set up a little bit of cycle, see if we can't set 2 monsters face down instead of just 1. Unfortunately, it looks like the answer is no. We are not able to do that. And we even just milled a second copy of the left side of Yggdrago. Fortunately, we do have an Attitude Hydron in hand. So all hope is not lost. Our alternative win condition of bringing in a bunch of 4,000 attack monsters is totally fine. Unfortunately, they have the Magical Stream, and they hit negate attack, leaving us with just a Music Princess's Recital. Still good to block one of these attacks, but much less powerful than it otherwise would have been to completely negate their turn. As it stands, we are still taking probably well over 3,000 damage. Or at least around that ballpark. Here comes the 7-Zone Magician. And let's see what their final card is. A Light Sorcerer of Sanctity to further provide debuffing value. And they even managed to play around the Recital. Clearly, they know what they're doing. Our move, what are we going to draw? We managed to draw directly into the Yggdrago. Though, obviously, I still don't feel super confident about this. We definitely want to go in and pop the 7-Zone Magician. And then battle, I mean, I guess the Light Sorcerer is the right target. But I expect fully to be hit by a Talismanic Seal Ray into the game-ending combo. Here comes another Light Sorcerer of Sanctity. To start debuffing. That's already a 1200 debuff. And things get rough. All they need to do now is summon a 1-beat monster, and they can search out 7-Zone Magician. But with a Talismanic Seal Ray, they don't even need to do that. That Magical Stream won a 50-50 that probably ended up winning them the game. Nothing we can do about that. Let's go ahead and send it over. Time for another attempt. Alright, we are up second. We don't have much in the way of piercing, but an early Yggdrago draw could always turn that around. We have 2 of the 3 pieces, and we even have a Chaos Femtron which is automatically live thanks to Beyond Curiosity, sending the cards straight to grave. So perhaps it'll work out. Our move. Another left piece. Not quite what we're looking for. Let's mill the cards, and we mill both other Chaos Femtrons. Definitely not what we were trying to see at all from this. We're just gonna try to beat over one of the monsters, and hope it's not a Doriado. And we pass turn. Is the new Transformer card good? Could you be a little bit more specific? I'm not sure which card that is. If you describe the effect of the monster, I can probably help. Alright, Valkyria is coming in, but of course we are going to go ahead and block the attack to avoid taking too much damage. Mirror Innovator is good, yes. Or if you're talking about Gold Rush, there's also a chance of it being decent. Alright, let's bring in Picotron and try to get to more low levels. Or the headpiece. Unfortunately, we mill the head after we draw 2. So instead, we are going to reset runner, mill another card, and there goes another piece of the head. Very funny. But Attitude Hydron is loaded to the brim. We'll go ahead and throw a card face down. And I'm pretty sure at this point our win condition is probably going to be landing 2 more giant Hydrons. Or maybe just 1 more. Since I'm not seeing many other ways we survive the next turn. Wait, but they are Magnum Overlord. Have we gone through 2 right sides? Alright, 1 of each. And then that way. So I need to set this one. And then we swing over the Mission's Valkyria. And we see how it goes. Welcome, Penguin. Hope you've been having a good night. Or morning. Or whatever time it might be. Alright, turn the one over. Unfortunately, he's going to be able to flip over one of these monsters. And with only 500 attack, I am a little bit worried about it being a lethal push. 1500 and 1500. Okay, not quite. We do manage to survive. Though we are getting low. A Magnum Overlord at any point is going to be a game ender. And this is looking a little bit rough. I mean, we could Yoctron. But what are we even looking for if we do? I think we just want to bring in the Attitude Hydron and try to get in for so much damage, we end up winning the game that way. But we don't have 6 more monsters than we did last turn. Draw a card. Yes. Set this. Set this. Battle phase, we swing in for 3,000. And maybe, just maybe, they won't have spell trap removal. And then they summon the maximum, swing in, but it doesn't work because we have the negate attack ready to go. Did I make the new machine deck? That is the one deck we haven't played yet. Mostly because I think I'm still waiting on my second copy of Gold Rush. And so they're flipping up. That is fine. As long as they don't play Magical Stream. So here it is. Negate attack. And we have seen their Widespread Ruin. The face down card is not slime. They concede. We managed to get in with a big legend trap, stealing the game. I do wonder if machines still use the Tough Striker skill or not. I mean, I suppose it makes sense because Gold Rush and Tough Striker are still 2500s, if I remember correctly. Alright, we are up first. And we drew both Atron and Zeptron. Though Zeptron usually I don't actually end up wanting to use. Because it's a -1. We'd rather just set all the cards we currently have and wait until the next turn, where we will be able to do our combo more reliably. And they immediately concede. They must have had an awful, awful hand. We are up second. Maybe we can get a third win in a row before we hop over to trying to build something with the machine cards. Or finishing grinding out the gems for that selection box. Here comes a Dorotheo and a Prismatic Light Sorcerer. Wait, 2 Prismatic Light Sorcerers. Absolutely wild. We have nothing here. Fortunately, we will at least be able to use the effect of Attitude Hydron. Even if we aren't drawing a card off of it. But with 2 back row to get through, I'm not super confident in our continued survival. Let's battle, walk into the widespread. No, nothing activates. Very interesting. How do they even get all of these in the graveyard anyway? Dorotheo sends 2 and the Chibidu 2. Okay. But it does mean Talismanic Seal Array is live. They are filtering, probably finding those Blue Eyes cards. And the third Light Sorcerer. Finally, one that is not prismatic. But I was expecting, if they didn't activate any trap cards, one of their set cards was almost assuredly going to be the Talismanic Seal Array. So, Hydron is getting quite low. Alright, Dragon's Inferno, popping the reincarnation. Making it a little bit harder to spam the Hydron. next turn. But as long as we draw into another one, we might be okay. We have 2 maximum pieces as well. Will Atron be able to get us to the final piece of Exodia? No, but it does find a Femtron, giving us one more opportunity. Add a card to hand. And it's a reset runner. Not really what we were looking for, but it might be good enough. Let's throw down our 2 traps and end it here. See what the Blue Eyes player has in store. A negate attack would be great, as long as it's able to resolve. But they have Magical Stream and Dragon's Inferno, and they managed to hit the negate attack. Things are rough. But they have gone through 2 different spell trap removal cards, so our slime might be relatively safe here. And there are no maximums to worry about. Unfortunately, at exactly 3,000 life points, we are going to be having to take 2,000. But it's better than losing the game. Our move. We draw. And there it is, the final piece. Let's bring in Yggdrago, the Sky Emperor. Then we throw down a card to protect it. Yggdrago's effect destroys Blue Eyes White Dragon. And then battle phase, swing over the other. Things are looking like they might be pretty good. Even if they have a new boss monster, they are going to need exactly a Talismanic Seal Array to out this Yggdrago, as they wasted 2 to the Doomed on the prior turn, which is crazy. Let's see what they're able to pull off. But it is looking like Cybers are in a great spot to pick up one more win. Alright, here comes a Dorotheo. Potentially burning for 400. No, for 300. But that's not enough yet. Our move, we draw. Let's activate our effect to flip over the opponent's monster. Oh, and that is looking really tasty. Unfortunately, we can't destroy the Dorotheo if we go for this, though, as we'd only have 1 card left in deck and not be able to flip over on the next turn. So now, we are kind of just hoping that Dorotheo doesn't burn us to death. Alright, they mill a negate attack. Amazing. And they only have 2 cards left in their own deck. Things might be working out for us. But maybe not if a Light Source of Sanctity is coming down. And that Dorotheo is indeed a light spellcaster, providing some synergy. Soul Drake bringing in the Blue Eyes White Dragon, presumably. And it is. And then Dragon's Inferno to remove the Recital. Unfortunate. They ran a 3rd spell trap removal card to finish the game with 100 life remaining. Absolutely crazy final turn. But we have a few standard duelists back, which means it's time to try to get... Oh. Where did the 500 gem rewards come from? I have literally no idea what those were. And why they weren't in the gift box earlier. But we will definitely take it. But I thought I already cleared the gift box earlier. Oh, so, wait. When is the reset? Okay, first let's check here. I am missing the 3rd Mirror Innovator. but 2 is probably good. I want to focus on the selection box first. I have 7 packs potentially remaining. And we are just hoping to find another gold rush. We have 1. But it is a dangerous gamble. 5 out of the 9. Unfortunately, we hit a speedy performer. And 3 out of 7 left. Things are looking sub 50-50. We only have a 1 in 3 chance of finding the gold rush. Which could be a shame if we only get 1. It's gonna mean all of the money or all of the gems invested in the pack basically aren't worth it at that point. Which is a bit of a rough feeling. But eventually the gold rush will come out again. But also if this deck ends up being good, the World Championship qualifiers are like a week or 2 away. And it is really hard to tell what is good right now. Alright, we got over 200 again. Here it goes. What will our pack hold? We're through the rares, and it's the Talismanic Seal Ray. We are down to just a 1 in 5 chance of pulling the card. There is 150 gems behind Varus. Let's duel another standard duelist and see what we get. Reward multiplier times 2. So, this very next pack, once we finish leveling up this character, is going to determine whether or not we are able to build the machine deck. A 20% chance. Let's find a standard duelist to beat up. We are a few experience points away from the next level. And I think that might be the final box we have today. Or the final deck we have yet to cover. At some point, I do need to go eat food. And I also need to go make a video now that we know the actual contents of the Blue Eyes box. So I can't stream all night. And then there's also the point battle in just 13 hours. Set your alarms if you want to participate in that. I still didn't level up. I'm so close. So I guess we fight a standard duelist. Yami Yugi should be a clean, easy victory. Do I have dual orbs? I do, but I also have infinite keys. At this point, I never actually duel against gate duelists, so I'll just do a quick duel against them. Summon the disc, set this, and pass. I'm pretty sure they don't even own any monsters with over 1800. Yeah, they are running red medicine. Hopefully we draw into more monsters. Battle, swing. And a white princess. Getting closer. And next turn, the match will be over. And we're going to find out. Will I be able to pull the second gold rush? A 1-5. Will it be on top of the deck? Or not? Lots of tension. But only one way to find out. 150 gems obtained. Alright, so we got the final gems we needed. Striker expansion. Not the one we're looking for. We are looking for Selection Box Volume 1. Only one left on the purchase limit. We are looking for Ultimate Flag Mech Gold Rush. We managed to get 2 copies of 7 Shift. And we've pulled every other UR card, including all the ones we don't care about. We also are missing a Spark Hearts Girl, but that is not a huge deal. 1 in 5. Can we do it? That is looking like an SR rather than a UR. Based on the glow. Let us see. It might be the next card. And it's not even either of the cards we were missing. Or even the alt art Essel. Our final pack is a glossy... is a glossy mage. An unfortunate experience. I could spend $7 and have a pretty good chance of getting it, but I'm not going to do that unless this ends up being some kind of mega broken tier 0 deck that I basically need to own for the World Championship qualifiers. Atlas, we did not. Unfortunately. 1 gold rush is all we get. And that means I'm not going to really be able to build the machine deck with 1 gold rush and 2 mirror innovators. Yeah, I mean, I have theoretically the money to do it, but I am pretty free-to-play friendly. I'm not going to invest the money in it unless there's a really compelling reason. But I think that might be, yeah, exactly, Atlas. If I really need it for the championship qualifiers or the 3rd Blue Eyes, well, I'm going to get the 3rd Blue Eyes deck because somebody donated and specifically told me to buy it with that money. So I'm going to buy the Blue Eyes deck as my first purchase in Duel Links history. But Gold Rush is definitely going to be a wait and see. So, before we sign out for the day, let's do a quick review on my thoughts on the decks. we have the Blue Eyes deck, which I think actually does seem pretty strong. But my build was missing something. And by something, I mean a third Carbon Man and a third Soul Drake and a third Blue Eyes Bright Dragon. I think if you actually have the third copy of the deck, it is fairly strong. But you probably need all three. Moving on to the other cards from the mini box. Let's take a look. Metageos, I think, kind of sucked. It was awful. Maybe it'll see play in an aggro deck outside of the skill, but the skill completely useless. We did technically lose to the one Dinosaur Maximum player we played against, but I think it is also bad. Mirror Innovator and Machines, I have a feeling, are going to be pretty good. But Psychics, I don't think we even saw anyone experimenting with them. That's how bad they were. Other than that, Cyburst feels really good. It's the only deck tonight we've had a pretty good time with. And I'm excited to try out more in the future. I'll even do the Maximum Ragnarok build and see if it works out better over there. Finally, Ice Stark. It's neat, but I think it's just a little bit awkward, just like a lot of the other Gakuto skills. And I'm pretty sure that is everything that came out. We also technically have not done any decks with 7 Shift. But I think it's still a good card to have obtained. I own 2 copies of it, and if it ends up becoming a standard inclusion in the decks, I will be ready. And I agree with Red Fire. Once you stop being free to play, I think people are a lot more easily tempted to spend again, which is part of why I'm doing the Blue Eyes deck, only because somebody told me to. I was like, here is the $5. But I will be making a video on Blue Eyes at some point, once I actually figure out how I set up all of my stuff, because I want to actually keep track of anything that I'm spending money on for the stream purposes. So it'll probably be a week or so, but I'm gonna figure it out. And in the meantime, we'll be making videos on probably the Cyber Stack, talking about the structure deck in general, the selection box, and as always, we have the point battle in around 12 hours from now. The room code will be posted, and the battle begins an hour later. I think we'll probably do a little bit of a longer session because of the new decks, but I hope you all are there for it. Thank you everybody who tuned in, and before we head out, I'm definitely going to try to find somebody on Twitch to raid. I know we got a big raid from Quantum earlier, and of course most people have gone to sleep, etc. since then, but I want to also send forward to somebody, if I can. So how many Rush players? There are actually a few different Rush players hanging out today. And what is going on with this one? Do they have a making sure they at least have a mic, are talking, etc. If I can. Yeah, alright, I will send you all over to Drewy. I hope you all have a good night. I'm gonna be, getting some food, and then probably working on the deck covering the structure. The video just talking about the structure itself, not actually being a deck profile. And maybe I'll cover the selection box as well. And I hope you all have a great night.